Well, welcome in, Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Great to be here with you on a Tuesday, March 4th, 2025. Let's get our heads right today as best we can. I'm Woodsy. It's National Snack Day, and looking like a snack to my right is Paulie Rindle with a very fresh haircut. You're looking good, my
thank
friend.
You.
Looks
Appreciate
good.
That.
I noticed.
Thank you.
How fresh is it?
It's actually not that fresh. Well,
damn it.
No. Hang on. Hear me out.
It looks fresh as F.
Let's see. I got it Friday before spring training, so a week and a half.
Okay, all right.
Almost 2 weeks.
Relatively fresh.
But like a week and a half to 2 weeks, that's kind of where I feel best about the hair.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, it's okay.
Day
fresh.
1 kind of sucks. Day 3 kind of sucks. Day 7 starts
like
looking
a week to
good.
2 weeks in where it starts to kind of grow back a little bit.
Yeah.
That's when I'm always feeling the best.
Well, you're looking like a snack this morning. Also looking like a snack, Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. Good morning, Benjamin.
Good morning. I'll just say, Paulie, I didn't notice anything at all.
Yeah,
Last
anything
week,
different
today? Anything different whatsoever?
Yeah.
But you look good. You do look good.
Any update on the safe?
I don't. I will check during the show. In fact,
I thought about it at least, I don't know, 10 times.
Bo asked me as soon as I picked him up from school. The minute he got in the car, hey, they figure out what's in the safe yet?
If my mom is listening, she can text me an update sometime and let me know if there's been any progress made in cracking the safe that was found during my my grandmother's celebration over the weekend.
Should we just text her directly?
Just text her directly.
Get a direct line.
He's going to forget.
He's busy.
He's going to forget.
He's not as invested.
I'm probably still just sitting there waiting for someone that can, you got to make an appointment for such things, I assume.
I would have this open by Sunday.
Do you think there's like 24-hour
safe crackers?
Like
locksmith?
1 hour response?
I do.
I guess there has to be. Like you're locked out of
your house
or something.
You're locked out of your floor safe in your Brentwood mansion.
I don't know why. I feel like
this is more than just picking a. This is more than just picking a front door lock or something.
I know.
Though.
I get it.
This is buried in concrete.
I get it. I get it. Sandbags.
I feel like L.A., Hollywood in particular, old Hollywood, like this has to be a thing
all the time.
Has happened, and I would have this open before Monday.
Oh yeah, Ben's never seen The Italian Job. Clearly, yeah, exactly, Carlos. What do you guys think?
It's up to you, man.
It's up to you.
I feel like I don't know. It's up to you.
It's just a weird one.
It is weird.
If you were on the Gold Stream when we were out at spring training, I shared a little bit about it with you guys, and it's deeply personal, but I've always been kind of open with everybody, the audience and stuff. And so if I'm a little bit out of sorts today, this is why. First of all, I want to start with some good news. I talked to my mom yesterday, and her scans came back clean. So
that's great.
That's good. I don't think I can.
Okay, it's okay, buddy.
I don't know if I can do it, man. I really don't.
Do you want me to kind of explain a little bit about what went on? So you've heard Woods talk about his story and his past, and how, his dad, Gary, who we saw and played golf over the weekend, he met when he was 10 years old, when his mom and Gary got together, and that Woods really never had a relationship with his birth father, except when he was very young. And then, he left the family and really hadn't seen him or talked to him or had a connection with him for years and years and years. But just recently, Woods found out just randomly on a post from one of his, distant relatives on social media that his birth father, who, again, he hasn't had contact with in many years, was, in the late stages of life and going to pass away. And Woods found out just about 30 seconds before we started the show.
Is everybody in?
Yeah.
I
got the text
that his birth father had passed away this morning.
And it's it's just a weird feeling. It is. Thank you for summarizing that. That was
in my cold and clinical way.
It's perfect.
I'm sorry,
it was absolutely perfect.
I don't have any other bedside manner, but
no, it was absolutely perfect, man. And I just talked to my dad this morning, about it, and he's just the best. And said, I'm here for you, whatever you need. And I said, the funny thing is like you've already given me everything I need, in life. I really hit the lotto, when my mom met Gary when I turned 10, but there's I saw the picture, and it's what domed me out, right? You look at the picture and you go, all right, that dude's not doing good. He's at his last, he's on his last legs for sure. And you look at the picture and you go, is that me in 20 years, right? Hospice, things like that. And of course you panic, and I did. It happened out at spring training. I absolutely panicked.
Yeah.
And thought a lot about it. I talked to some, look, at the end of the day, man, that nobody's perfect, right? But he has a few kids kind of scattered around the country that he doesn't have relationships with, and wasn't the most mature person as far as dealing with his children and the responsibility of it all. And it is a tremendous responsibility being a parent. He's the reason why I parent so hard. He's the reason why I don't take plays off and days off, to the detriment of my kids sometimes, the over parenting, just, it's why I'm hard on my kids, but as far as mourning somebody, it's hard to mourn somebody that you don't know, does that make sense? But it is an idea of something I carried around with me for 49 years, almost 50 years of why wasn't I good enough? Right? Why wasn't I good enough for you to want to take care of? And it's a hard thing. And I know a lot of people out there listening can relate. I have several close friends, one of them in this room, the trauma of your youth, and the trauma of things that happen when you were young. It's hard to get free of it. And I was really touched by the message that I saw the day Gene Hackman died. It was the same day I saw that picture, by the way. And he's talking about, he goes, my dad left. It's 13, and he kind of drove off and he waved. I was playing with some friends on the street, and he gets kind of choked up emotionally talking about it. And he starts laughing. He goes, well, it's only been 65 years. And it you know what it did for me? It allowed me to go, okay. So I'm not some giant baby about this. You know what I mean? I'm not some big P word, because I have feelings about this, and it hurts me, and it always has. And when a guy like Gene Hackman's getting emotional about it and choked up about it, it gave me license to do the same. And so it was a very odd text to get 5:58. Right, to know. I knew it was coming, but I didn't know it would happen at 5:58. So, otherwise, if it happened later this afternoon, I may not have shared it, but it happened. It was so fresh that I just thought, man, this is, I'm not gonna be able to get through it, So thank you guys for always being there for me.
I think, I don't have a psychology degree, but I would imagine that the range of emotions is going to be very confusing for you here. And I think it's important to remember that it's okay to experience it all. You're sad, but you feel guilty about being sad.
Yes, that's it.
There's probably some relief, and you're feeling guilty about that. And just, it's okay what you're feeling. Let yourself know that whatever you're feeling, don't feel bad about, the weird emotions that are probably coming, because this is a really confusing, situation.
It is.
That's not going to be easily kind of resolved, but it's okay, whatever you're feeling. So don't feel bad about that.
No, I don't. I don't. And I'm, I had some conversations with my half sister over the weekend, Melody, and, she doesn't have a relationship with it. I just texted her, and, I was the first person to tell her that. And, you just hear these things and these stories, and you try to piece your family tree together a little bit, and you're like, man, this is some heavy stuff. But, at this point, I've got a family of my own. I got a family of my own that's important to me. And, that's all I can do is just kind of do the opposite, do the opposite. And I think that's kind of what I always have done. So yeah, it's a weird feeling, man. It's a weird feeling. I apologize. But yeah, it just happened. So, I mean, it's the timing of this thing, as usual, brilliant timing, sir. Very, very brilliant timing. Just try to get me one more time, if you could.
It's tough, man. You referenced my situation, and I get emotional when anybody else in the room gets emotional. That's just how I am.
Yeah, me too.
I started getting a little emotional there at the beginning, but then I very similar paths, you and I think about it every day. How am I going to feel when that happens? And from all things I know, probably not happening super soon.
Yeah.
But it's gonna happen. And I'm like, how am I gonna feel?
Yeah, I think about it, I've thought about it every day.
I think about it all the time, and now I'm kind of just seeing it through you. It's like hitting me.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling. There's just no other way to put it. It's such a cop out, dude, to say it's weird, because I can't describe it. You know, I'm not in mourning. Where the hell's my water? I'm not in mourning, you know, but there is kind of a confusing and a sense of relief. I'm not doing well.
Take your time.
But yeah, the timing of it was certainly certainly odd. And my wife, I want to give her a lot of credit, because Saturday I was not doing too well, you know, and I've talked about it before. Like, sometimes I'm like, hey, I don't need a debate. You know, I don't need a debate right now. I just need you to be there. And this morning, Saturday morning, Sunday, was absolutely just there to listen and basically be one giant Kleenex for me. So thank you, babe. I know you're listening.
I will add that, you know, it sucks what happened to you when you were a kid, but I can see that you're a really good dad. And sometimes, for whatever reason, I do believe that things always have a purpose.
Sure.
And
absolutely,
this played out perhaps the way it was supposed to play out for you.
Yeah.
And it kind of formed your kind of core beliefs. It led to you finding Gary, and now it's kind of led to you having this relationship with your kids, which is healthy and good. And, you know, perhaps this is just the way that it was supposed to unfold. As weird and painful as it was for you, you know, earlier in your life.
Yeah, it's just and I know a lot of people out there have gone through it more than I ever imagined, and more than I ever knew still affected people. You know, I think there are people that are able to internalize it, and I know I was an angry dude for many, many years, right? But I think in the you know, as I've gotten older, I know it. Those of you that know me, you've seen some changes. The ability to have grace and forgiveness is not the easiest thing for me. I'm a grudge holder. I've always been one, but it contributed to a lot of the downfall in my life. Everything I've ever done wrong was because I was kind of angry all the time. And that's why I was angry. I didn't feel like I was worthy or good enough. So I think, you know, at this moment right now today, I will just say rest in peace. And, you know, I forgive you.
Would you like a hug?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll put it on the schedule sometime this morning.
I would love it. 7:30, we can tease it. You know. Oh, it's so weird. So weird. Such a weird feeling.
I have termites. Just thought I'd throw that in. From the end of the show yesterday,
I think I would actually rather be me right now. If I had
dealing
to deal
with the termite guy, the inspector that was coming. I do, in fact, have the old termite problem chewing away at my house. Just like I think about it right now, they're just chewing and chewing away at my house at the moment.
You showed me a picture that you had taken. He showed me a picture. Yes, he goes, "What do you think? Do you think I have termites?" It was like this big sawdust pile with like little doo-doos in there. I was like, "Dude, you're dead." Yes, you have termites. Like,
I think you got to move.
I know. You need to get your ass home. You need to get your ass home right now. He's like, "Well, now you know why I was texting in the middle of the show." I was like, "All right, you're forgiven." I had the same, like, so you went home and the guy was there?
He was still there, yeah. He gave me the whole rundown and showed me all the areas of concern, and yeah, definitely have the old termite problem.
I had this thing that happened to me yesterday where Hannah goes, I got a work thing. Can you grab Bo from school? And the plumber's coming. I said, sure. I said, what's he doing? And she said, he's putting in a new faucet in our kitchen sink. I go, oh, okay. And she goes, here's the faucet, you know, whatever. So guy comes in, manly dude. How you doing? Here to put I'm like, yep, come on in the kitchen. So I just walk him in. I open the box. I go, now you don't need me for anything, right? He's like, hang on one second. I'm like, oh no, what's he gonna ask me? So he
what's the pressure on this? You know,
dude. So he gets
where's the shut off
he
valve?
gets under the sink and he goes, do shut off valves work? I go, yeah, I think so. I go, maybe. Why don't you try it and you let me know that I know. So he goes under and he shuts it off. He goes, hey, flip that thing for me. I was like, all right,
I can do that.
oh, looks like it worked. And then he goes, does this drawer come out? I go, I think so, maybe. He's like, just go, and I got it. Let me write up this thing. So, dude, I freaking. So I disappeared into the back room, Bo, and I just watched a movie, and he's like, all right, I'm all finished. I was like, thank God. But, again, one of those things where I'm like, bro, don't ask me about this stuff. I'm only going to do damage if I'm in here. I'm not going to be able to help you at all. Oh, it's so good, dude. Yeah. So I'm like, here's my credit card. Just whatever you want to charge me. I don't care. Thank you for doing that. But yeah, hey, I just want to say thank you to the tier ones in the chat, man. I could hug you all right now. I really love you, and I'm sorry. And yeah, it was just the oddity of that timing was
I mean, it was almost eerie. Like, really, 30 seconds
30
before we
seconds
go on the air?
before, man, just crazy.
Right,
Almost like the timing for our first live read today.
Oh yeah.
Oh, can't be.
We got to take a timeout. Just the bottom line though is that we'll be moving in with you in a couple of weeks for
okay, great. Look forward to having you guys.
a few days while we take care of eradicate the termite infestation.
Yeah, I could use the help at home, to be honest with you.
All right, let's before we get to Kelly's traffic, let us tell you about Trust and Will.
No worries there, guys. I'm in good shape.
Oh, I don't even know how to transition.
I don't either.
But just for everybody out there, it's important if you have not put your affairs in order, whatever age you are, the unpredictability of life, I guess, is the message here. You want to make sure that your wishes and your loved ones are taken care of after you're gone. And there's a simple way to do it that doesn't require going to an expensive attorney and going to their office. You just go to trustandwill.com, answer some simple questions. You can set up a real simple will or a trust in which you can actually pass along assets while avoiding the lengthy and expensive process of probate court.
Very expensive, very time consuming, can take, a year and a half. Think about it. If you have an estate worth $500,000, your family's going to end up paying out about $25,000 just in fees. They've just lost you. They don't want to be stuck in court and dealing with paperwork and things like that. So very simple, just like we did. Go to trustandwill.com. Use the code San Diego, one word, when you check out. It's trustandwill.com, code San Diego. When you check out, you'll get 10% off.
Well, it was a very, very heavy start to the Tuesday edition of Men and Boys.
Indeed.
But, I just appreciate our community here.
Very much.
Tier 1's very supportive in the chat. I'm sure Woodsy thanks you all as well.
I do.
For what he's going through. And, whatever you need this morning, if you just any request, let me know.
All right. How about a bagel?
Paulie?
I'm just kidding. I don't need a bagel. I have to go to the gym today to work out with my
trainer.
Insult
Today?
to injury. Yeah. he texted me and gave me some nice words, and but he's not going to let me off the hook.
No excuses.
So, no, zero. He's not going to let me off the hook.
Turn that grief
into pump. Yeah, 100%.
Let's see. The Padres were off yesterday,
Yep.
but they'll be back this morning. In fact, probably already, as we knew last week, trickling into the Peoria Sports Complex as we speak.
How did we not, by the way?
What
do we do when somebody dies? On this
I wasn't sure if you felt that.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring it up.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You're okay with it?
Yeah.
All right.
That's what we do.
And I really hope we can see more unity and more peace when already things are so difficult. So, shout out to his family.
Hey. That's how we do it. It gives me a sense of comfort.
Yeah.
Weird. It does.
It does. Yeah. Thank you, Paul, for reminding me. Paul Valdez says, "Where's the shout out to his family?" I totally forgot.
That's all right.
Totally forgot.
So Padres getting back to work today. They got a pair of games, split squad games today against the Giants and the Cubs. We're supposed to see Nick Pivetta and Matt Waldron at least starting on the mound. I would think that they're going to start stretching out pitchers a little bit. I mean, maybe like three plus innings now, just depending on how the efforts go.
I think Waldron's the only one that's gone three.
He's already gone
Three's
three.
gone
so
three.
He might go up to four.
Yeah. Keep pushing, man. See what you got with these guys.
And that competition's very fascinating. Between Matt Waldron now and Kyle Hart and Stephen Kolek. Randy Vasquez seems to be struggling a little bit, but things can change. We're still, remember, 3 weeks and 2 days away from opening day, so a lot can change between now and then.
Yeah, it's 3 weeks from this Thursday.
Ultimately, though, and we're going to talk about this morning, and someone came up to me yesterday. I was going, what are the he's not a Padres fan, and he said, what are the Padres like chances this year? Are they good? And I said, oh yeah, they're a good team. It's just weird that no one really feels like they can win the division because of the Dodgers. And so you're really already looking at the wild card race this early. So I thought today we'd take a look at some of those other contenders, what they've done in the offseason. We're not doing our tier 1 tour like we've done in years past where we're taking like a day for every single team, but it definitely is important to at least kind of get us updated on what those other, especially wild card contenders in the National League have done, the teams that you're going to be having to beat out if you want to make the postseason. And, at least we're resting our hopes on the fact that in the postseason, the Dodgers are vulnerable because it's a short series and anything can happen, but you got to get there. And to get there, you have to finish in the top 7 of the National League. So how do the Padres get to that point at the end of the season?
Yeah, and there's going to be some sneaky teams. There's going to be some sneaky teams. There always is. There's going to be teams that underperform. That always happens. But yeah, it's again, and I know that people hear that and they go, "Oh, freaking loser mentality, man, playing for second place." All right, fine. I mean, I think it's just at this point, if you're in the West, I think it's just something that you say. Yeah, we'd love to win the division. Fine, of course you'd love to win the division. We'd all love to win the division, but I don't want to hand it to the Dodgers, and I don't think anybody's going to. They are going to have to earn it. We've seen Dodger teams that were stacked with talent not meet expectations. Certainly. We've seen that with Yankee teams, Dodger teams, Met teams, Red Sox teams. It happens. Padres teams, oh my God. Haven't we seen the Padres not meet expectations? So as the very butter-toothed Oral Hershiser once said, that's why you play the games. You have to play them.
We will also update you on the San Diego FC story. Talked a little bit about it yesterday and the chant that broke out in the home opener on Saturday. SDFC issued a statement yesterday. We can go through that. It seems like they're kind of caught in a bit of a middle ground between two segments of fans who view this very differently.
Yes.
Very differently, which is kind of a tough place to be for a new franchise, but we'll get you updated on that story as well. We've got our regular features like Don't Do This, Take on Woods, the Rhino Report, have our biggest fan. We have more tickets to give away to Padres spring training in Peoria, Arizona. We should do that first half of the show at some point. And spring training Sammy will join us. I think Mike Schilt's supposed to talk like 8:20 or something this morning.
Right
so
after.
we'll talk to Sammy right after and get an update on anything that's been transpiring for the Padres the last couple of days while they've been off, because things happen even when the team is off. Mike Schilt should have some updates for us. So that's a brief look at the menu, but we'll get into the Padres and what their chances really are of making the postseason coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
Yeah, but right now, as we wait patiently or impatiently for baseball season, you got basketball going on. This basketball season, when your favorite stars score buckets, let Underdog alley-oop you into an opportunity to win money just watching sports with Underdog. It's daily fantasy. You know how it works. All you got to do is choose higher or lower on player stats like points, assists, rebounds, more. You've got all your favorite teams, your favorite leagues. You can mix and match. You can do some hockey. You can do some basketball. You can do some golf if you like. I'm really ready for baseball season. I'm ready for the tournament in March. That's going to be a lot of fun on Underdog. So if you haven't signed up yet, please go do so. You can play with as little as $1. If you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Turn $1 into 1,000 with your hoops knowledge or your sports knowledge. It's fun. It's fun. I mean, obviously, like everything, man, you have some fun with it. Don't go crazy, but have some fun with it. It's a blast. Download the Underdog app. Sign up now using the promo code WOODS to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. When you make your first deposit, join in on the fun when you sign up with the promo code WOODS. Claim your special offer today. Get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona and Massachusetts. Present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Next step or text next step to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
We're back. It is 6:38. It is Tuesday morning. Appreciate everybody joining us here. Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Padres again returning after a rare spring training off day. They only get a couple of them in the 7 weeks or so that they're in Peoria, Arizona, but no games yesterday. 2 games today. I believe Jesse and Tony have a webcast of the game against the Giants at the Peoria Sports Complex at 12.
So webcast is what, Padres.com?
Yeah. Or Padres TV
Padres
or MLB
TV.
app. I think you can get the game this afternoon. Crazy that they're not driving to the Mesa game 55 minutes away on the other end of town.
Yeah, I think Jesse said they had one Mesa game, maybe. He's like, this is it. This is the longest commute of spring training. But look, it'd be good to get the boys back in action today.
The Dodgers are also in action today. They will debut of Roki Sasaki later today in Glendale. And
It's probably appointment viewing, I think, for baseball fans. And, I mean, I hope he gets lit up, but
it's funny because I rarely cheer against players.
yeah,
I
you're not
feel
like
I have
that.
I don't have the energy to cheer against players, but there's something now about Roki Sasaki that I don't really want him to succeed. I mean, it's a combination of, obviously, he's on the Dodgers. I don't want any Dodger to succeed, but in particular, the way
Teased you.
the process played out.
He led you on.
Yeah.
He led you on.
Just feels like
He led you on, and he married the wealthier, let's be honest, better looking person.
it's going to hurt more if he is great. Like if he goes
It's going
to the Dodgers and like rookie of the year, Cy Young candidate first year, and I'm going, I thought we were going to get him. Really thought we were going to land him, and now he's doing this against us for the team that doesn't even really need him. I mean, we were trying to figure it out as we were walking out yesterday. Clayton Kershaw is probably their 8th best starter now.
Yeah, Ben and I were talking about it
rotation.
yesterday. Is there now, again, if everyone stays healthy, right? That's been the knock against the Dodgers. But Glasnow, Snell, Yamamoto, Shohei's coming back, Sasaki,
Dustin May,
Gonsolin, Kershaw.
I think
You got Landon Knack.
Yeah,
you got Ben
more depth beyond that too. But
you got depth beyond that. But all right, and let's just call it what it is. Are there whispers in the Dodgers offices of, hey, he wants to come back again for another season? He's not going to be back till June. What if we're rolling? The guy's going to his first ballot Hall of Famer, probably maybe a unanimous. Got to find some room for this guy. You know what I mean? Like, you never know how good they're going to be when he's ready to come back. And it's one of those things where it's like, holy cow, man, where are you going to find a spot for Clayton Kershaw? Where's he going to get the innings, if everybody's healthy? But it's definitely the definition of Cadillac problems, because he looks to be still effective, I would imagine. So, but yeah, good problems to have for the Dodgers. They are an embarrassment of riches, certainly right now.
So facing that embarrassment of riches, is it even worthwhile talking about taking them down in the division? I think for most people and most fans, it's just basically not something you're even really considering in 2025. It's like, Dodgers are uncatchable unless you're one Manny Machado, who he is built a little bit differently than anybody else. But when he talks about the Padres and what they can do, I don't think he puts any limitations on it.
And maybe we're dumb to do that. Maybe we're dumb or soft or whatever adjective you want to use. But I'd like to look at it. I try to look at baseball, as emotional as I am about it. There is also a logical part of my brain that says chasing a division in this division is a fool's errand. And I'm not saying that strange things don't happen. We've seen them happen before, but I want to be logical about it. And if that makes me a defeatist or a P word, whatever you want to call it, fine. Call me what you want, but I'm trying to look at it logically, and I'm going, how? Like, how do you reconcile, thinking you're going to win the division? And it's not just the Padres, Ben. It's the Diamondbacks. It's the Giants. They want to win a division. I think the only thing that maybe gives me a tiny little bit of hope is, remember that weird Giants season of a couple of years ago where they just played out of their minds with far inferior talent.
And they won 107
games, which was bananas.
Yeah.
So I know it can happen. It's happened recently.
I don't even want to think about the fact that what if the Padres played out of their mind, won 107 games? I mean, obliterated the franchise record for wins.
Yeah.
And still finished 10 games behind the Dodgers.
Crazy, right?
Which is possible.
Which is absolutely possible.
Team. So we had a chance to talk to Manny last week. I'm very proud of the relationship and rapport that we've built with Manny Machado over the years. It's been, we've had to put in like constant, like getting to know him, getting to feel comfortable, getting a sense of who he is. He's gotten a sense of who we are. And we talked to him last week, had a really good conversation. Now, MLB Network is doing their 30 teams in 15 days routine as they're going through all the camps.
They don't call it the Tier 1 tour.
They don't, but they're doing the same thing
should.
a little quicker. And on their Arizona stint, they sent their coverage team, which included, which I think is funny, is Manny's brother-in-law, Yonder Alonso. And he was the one who actually spoke to Manny and, got into some of these issues about being competitive in the NL West, taking down the Dodgers, making the playoffs. Here's Yonder with Manny on MLB Network.
Absolutely. I mean, what we did last year as an organization, as a team, a lot of people didn't expect that from us. And, we overcame a lot of things, a lot of adversities, and built something pretty special here. And, coming into the season, man, we got the same squad going out. Obviously, we're missing some pieces that left. But, with the team that we got in there, man, we're ready to compete. We're ready to do, handle the unfinished business that we have.
No unfinished business for Manny Machado.
And I think he's talking about
playoffs.
I think he's talking about the playoffs, man. Yeah, that's about the biggest pile of unfinished business on the Padres desk right now. I don't think it's a regular season title. I think it's the fact.
But he told us. He said we were 3 games away from winning the division.
Yeah.
And you go back at the end of the season and go,
you punch yourself.
I mean, it's easy to find 3 games where we felt we didn't play our best.
How about every Rockies game? How about the Angels sweep? I mean, you can go back and that's the it's good. It's a good lesson for us. We learned a couple of lessons as a show and really as a fan and as fans of the game and as fans of this team. We learned a couple of lessons, Benny. 2023 taught me a lot. When was the collapse? That was 2022?
One.
Yeah, 1. Then 3 was horrible. And I remember saying vividly last year, like, sorry, dude, the slow start, they'll figure it out. Well, we haven't played our best baseball yet. Bit is not going to work for me personally as a fan and as a broadcaster, right? As somebody that's trying to talk about the team every day. I wasn't going to swallow that medicine of saying, well, it's fine. They'll find their groove. I just think as it pertains to this team, somebody made the point in the chat. We've made it a million times. Take care of business against lesser teams this year. It has to be like on the bulletin board. Like play those. The Dodgers always say, oh, you play us, it's our World Series. You don't even play them like it's the World Series. Play every other team like it's the World Series and then let the chips fall where they may.
I agree 100%. I mean, I think, it was one of my first takes was you almost like can punt on the Dodgers.
Punt it.
And worry about everybody else because that's who you're actually competing against. And I don't love that attitude. I know Manny
he'd kill you.
Just be
and me
terribly mad about saying
they won't.
You can't
Schilt
win
too.
the division.
Schilt too. Schilt would feel the same way. But I get what you're saying. I absolutely get what you're saying.
So it's a weird place to be to start the season, like logically. Like, yes, we can do everything we want this year. We could win the World Series, but we can't win the division.
It's so weird. You're right. It's absolutely right. I don't, you don't want to put it in stone, but when it comes down to it and we make our picks on where we think teams will finish, we did it last year, had some fun with it. All did a pretty decent job. When we make our picks of where we feel all the teams are going to finish, I'd say it's so chalky. As far as the West going to the Dodgers. And I don't even know that there's an edgelord out there with guts big enough to say, no, actually, I don't think they have what it takes to win the division. I don't.
I don't think there will be a single person that is taking it all seriously, at least. It's not parody.
Right.
That will not pick the Dodgers to win the NL West.
Correct. Yeah, 100%. I mean, you want to get those things accurate. You want to be right about those things. And that feels like an easy one to me. It really does.
You start everywhere else. You just put that one in ink, and then you go on to the rest of it.
But, I mean, look, at the end of the day, it would be so sick to still be sniffing around it in August and September. That being said, it could be the most detrimental thing for the Padres. We said it last year. the fact that they were so close to the Dodgers are used to putting their feet up in August and saying, we're fine, we'll ramp it up for the playoffs. And they didn't. They hadn't. They lost to some really inferior payroll teams and inferior on paper teams. And we were one of them. The Diamondbacks were the other one. Let them run away with the division in August. Who cares?
Is that, we have to check traffic, but is that Dave Roberts' biggest concern going into this season, that they will have nothing to play for months,
2 months,
and then all of a sudden have to turn it on? We'll talk about that after a quick check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Crystal Geyser, Alpine Spring. Couple things to mention here, guys. Somebody has dropped some lumber in the slow lane, southbound 5, right before J Street. And we got a stalled car on the Coronado Bridge heading over to the island about mid-span. That's got the right lane blocked. What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring water different? They always bottle their Alpine Spring water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source. And all their bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from their own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source. And Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Getting some pushback in our chat. Alfonso, squash that talk. F the Dodgers. They still got to play, compete. Sean says Dodgers have all the pressure. They can easily collapse and lose the division. Can they? I mean, what would a Dodgers collapse even look like?
Malaria. Malaria infects the clubhouse. Again, I'm a slow player myself. I like the under promise, over deliver. I do. That's how I like to live. And so I keep my expectations a little bit lower so that I'm not disappointed, probably based on some of the childhood trauma I talked about this morning. That's kind of what I live my life by.
What's give me the number, the minimum number of wins for the Dodgers that you would essentially bet anything on, no matter how many bad things happen to them outside of, natural catastrophe. What's like the baseline that they just roll out and they play their worst baseball all year long?
God, their worst baseball?
Yeah, I think I was
going to say
95
92 or 3.
Yeah.
That's like the baseline.
Which is what the Padres finished with
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
And had a really good season in 193. I can't see the Dodgers losing more than that.
Well, and again,
they have a whole starting rotation on the bench. In waiting.
Yeah, 100%, Paulie. They
a
have
legitimate MLB starting rotation,
1 through 5 for sure. And again, don't get it twisted. This is regular season only. We're talking about.
Yeah,
this is it. I'm only talking about the regular season.
And I'm sure it was noticed by many in Los Angeles that after so many failures in the playoffs in years in which they cruised to the title in the NL West, that the year that they had to fight all the way to the end
is the year they won.
Was the year that they actually won the World Series.
100%.
So if you're Dave,
I hated it, man.
If you're Dave Roberts, how are you approaching this? You can't. Throttle your team to keep it close all summer. But how do you manage your team in August and September if truly, they're up 15 games on the Padres and Diamondbacks, and those teams are all competing for a wild card spot, and they're, it's competitive and battling every night, and you're the Dodgers, and you're just rolling out going, we have nothing to play for the last 8 weeks of the season.
Yeah, I don't know how you ratchet it up for the playoffs other than you just look at the roster of the guys that you have and the studs that you have and say, all right, this is how we got here, and take us home. But again, it's going to be, and they're already making mistakes because Tyler Glass now I saw is throwing baseballs right now, and it's March. He should never throw a baseball before July ever. He could, if he showed up to camp 30 pounds overweight, I'd be like, you're good, bro. Run a little bit. Do not throw. We will see you after the break. Blake Snell, go play Fortnite. I'll see you in July.
They could reinvent the baseball season.
They absolutely
with
could.
this team.
That's what I would have done. I would have been like, hey, just by the way, you have a hamstring pull.
Everybody has 4-month windows in which they're playing.
100%.
And your window doesn't start until June.
100%. But yeah, look, playoffs is what is a totally different ball game. Everybody knows it. The best team rarely wins in the playoffs. It's not like the NBA, man. It's not even like college football. I mean, it is like this. It's truly a crapshoot there. So our biggest concern is not winning a division. It's just not. As much as we want to beat our chest and say we got to win the division, it's just to get into the playoffs. And then hopefully you're healthy, you're playing your best baseball, and we ride. But, man, we got 162 of those games to get through before we even start thinking about the playoffs. So I think the baseline for our team, Ben, beat the inferior opponents. That's it.
And this is not to say the Dodgers won't have some unexpected setbacks. They'll have injuries.
They always do.
They'll have older players. At some point, Freddie Freeman's going to, start wearing down. They will have pitching injuries.
Yes.
I promise you. They will.
They always do.
The reason why I say that they seem to be impenetrable is that they can, unlike any other team really in baseball, they can withstand multiple
Big time.
injuries.
Yeah, man. For us, if Cease tweaks something or King tweaks something, boy, it's going to be patchwork. It's going to be patchwork. If Manny goes down, Toddy goes down, it's going to be patchwork, man. It's Eggy Rosario filling in at third. If Toddy goes down, we are back to God knows what's going to happen out there. So,
which is what most teams
are like that.
Like.
Yeah.
This is unusual that the Dodgers really can withstand just about anything this year.
Yeah, 100%.
And still play at a high level.
Yeah, so I want to talk about some of the other teams. So, putting them in first in the West is not a stretch at all. But yeah, I do want to talk today about some of the other teams that going to be some pretty big challenges for the Padres.
Yeah, I've got my list compiled of all the key moves that the other wild card contenders have made this offseason. And, some have done more, obviously, than the Padres have done this offseason to bulk up their teams.
But one thing that you can, if you're a listener to this program and the guys in the dugout were talking about it on Sunday, everyone to a man said, man, this team seems focused and locked in. And I said, yeah, absolutely, they do. They're on the same page. They're pulling the same rope. It's pretty cool to see.
We'll talk about that in our next hour. Give you an update on the SDFC chant situation as well. Quick timeout. Back with more Bennett Woods here on 97.3 The Fan. San Diego FC, just a week plus into their franchise history, has already found themselves in their first real controversy. It doesn't take long when you're a San Diego sports team, does it? And there's no team that can avoid them, no matter how well run you are, how good your plan is.
I think you're just hoping to get through one game.
I know.
Before it happens.
Unexpected things will happen. You will have to deal with it, whether it's one of your players, something that happens, off the field, in the stadium. There will be issues you have to deal with as a professional sports franchise. And very quickly, in the very first home game, we talked about it yesterday, San Diego FC had to deal with the chant that erupted 3 times near the end of the game against St. Louis City, the scoreless draw, in which one word Spanish phrase that, and we talked about this yesterday. Again, we're not making any cultural judgments. I know there are different perspectives on what this word means to different people.
Yes.
And some people have no problem with it at soccer matches. Some people have a gigantic problem with it at soccer matches. Some people feel like it doesn't really have any homophobic connotations. Some people think it is extremely homophobic. Guess what? You're all right, because, this is the kind of thing that is in the eye of the beholder, that you get to react to it however you want. But San Diego FC doesn't have the luxury of simply putting their head in the sand and ignoring it.
No, you can't. And it's, again, it's been a thing here. It's not the first time we've heard about this. It's unfortunate, that it happened game 1, and they had to, put the message on the scoreboard, and they had to have the PA announcer make a statement. It's just clearly something that, the MLS is do you say the MLS? Because you don't say the MLB.
I think it's just MLS.
Okay, so it's clearly something that MLS is not going to tolerate. CONCACAF, we've seen that, before. It's just something that is, if you do it, your team could get penalized. And I was a little annoyed at our boss yesterday after we had the discussion, which I thought was a thoughtful discussion. He put out the clickbait tweet that basically, was the game marred by a homophobic chant. And then we got roasted all day. If you went back and listened to the actual segment, you'd know that that's not what we were doing. Paulie and I were in the dugout asking our Mexican friends, like, hey man, tell us your thoughts. And they're, bro,
I need some perspective.
Give us some
some
perspective.
context here.
And our guy Hector was like, dude, he goes, my uncles call me that. I call them that, this is just how we grew up. We've said it at soccer matches our entire life. I've never meant any harm by it, and it was he's like, in our family, it's like a term of endearment, et cetera, et cetera. And so, yeah, man, we tried to have that perspective about it. But again, what it boils down to for me is, if you do it again, it could hurt the team that you're there to root for. Right. So that's why I would say just don't do it, and play it safe by not doing it.
Yeah. Clearly, not everyone chanting the word in the stadium had like hate and discrimination in their heart. Correct. That would be silly to think that there was some massive coordinated effort, a homophobic effort, that they were trying to make some sort of point. That's not what it was. But at the same time, I cannot understand if they make an announcement in the stadium. If I'm down in Mexicali watching a baseball game and I'm chanting, we want a pitcher, not a belly itcher, and they on the screen they go, hey, if you continue to chant that, we're gonna have to stop the game. And I don't understand. I go, that's not offensive. I'm just teasing the pitcher, but they think it's like that's really bad. Then I stop doing it. Yeah, I don't do it anymore. Why would you continue to chant something when you've been asked not to at the stadium? It's not so important that you have to chant that at the goalkeeper. That would be my point. That I just don't understand. It's not so ingrained. I know people argued that it's a cultural thing I've been doing. It really wasn't a thing until about, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. And then, it started happening in Mexican national team soccer matches. Some people, I think, thought they were clever. All of a sudden it became kind of an issue. And they tried to eradicate it. But some people, when you tell some people that they can't do something, it just makes them want to do it more.
100%. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
There's a
And-
line in a song I love is
But
if you tell me don't get mixed up with the devil, it's exactly what I'm gonna do.
It's weird because I'm such a casual. I'm a white guy. Like I don't know a lot about this, and I was uncomfortable trying to even form an opinion about it.
which is why we asked.
Why I asked people,
Yeah.
like, help fill me in on this. And I think a lot of sides can be right. You can be right in saying that this is a cultural thing. Like MLS is, trying to like temper it down or whatever. And you can also say, hey man, if there's 35,000 people there and there's 500, a group of 500 or 1,000 that are offended by it, in this day and age, if a small group of people are offended, then everybody should be offended, and you have to stop.
Yeah,
you have to
stop.
change.
Yeah, man. And I, again,
Not to say that you can't. I mean, if one person is being offended and they're taking something out of context, it doesn't mean that
course.
everybody that we have to watch every single word we say all the time. But this is more than one person. There's definitely a community and a segment of people who find this offensive, and that should be enough, for reasonable people to just go, you know what, let's just not do it then at the matches.
so what did their statement say?
So yesterday they followed up and released this statement both in English and Spanish that said, what took place during our first ever home match does not reflect who we are as a club or the values we stand for. The sport of football brings people together, and in San Diego, that inclusive spirit thrives. The use of homophobic language in our stadium is completely unacceptable and will not be tolerated. San Diego FC is built on respect and the belief that soccer is for everyone. We are committed to fostering an environment where all fans, players, and staff feel safe and welcome. We will take immediate steps to address this behavior and will communicate a detailed plan prior to the next home match. Is this the right way to respond to it as well, though?
Who knows? I have no idea, and I don't know that it will stop. But again, I think it's like your kids, man. You got to lay out the consequences, and once the consequences are laid out, you have to follow through on those consequences. And if that continues to happen, I think we know what's going to happen to the team that we're all there to root for and watch win soccer matches. So I think we'll have nobody to blame but ourselves if it does continue to happen. And I hope it doesn't. And I hope we can move on and just go out and play football. I'm still having a hard time calling it football over soccer. I'll tell you that. But just go out and play soccer and try to win matches and make the playoffs and make this a magical run for SDFC in their inaugural season. I know Mikey Varas doesn't want to answer these questions. I know the players don't want to have to answer these questions. And I'm not trying to tell people what to do or what not to do, but what's coming if you continue to do it, right? So that's just kind of where I stand on it.
Amanda's, I just called someone who didn't use a blinker on the freeway. That word, definitely not homophobic,
right.
Far from it. I don't. No one's telling you, kind of what you can do in your own private life. There's a difference between chanting something in a stadium and using it in casual conversation with a group of friends or, in traffic.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, words like that, like MF, right? I don't actually think that you did that with your mother. You know what I'm saying? But it's offensive.
But you wouldn't want to chant that the Dodgers at Petco Park, even if you felt that you hate
they do.
They shouldn't.
They do all the
yeah,
time.
they do.
F the Dodgers?
Yeah,
Are
they
you
do.
kidding me?
They do.
And I honestly was thinking about that yesterday.
That's true.
What is the difference?
It's
true.
It's inappropriate to do that at a public, venue with 40,000 people there, though.
Yeah,
the kids are there. That's not.
It was actually my kids that started it. Both of my kids are the ones that were leading the chant. So I got to recuse myself from this conversation.
And really, I'm not. You know me. I'm not prudish. I'm not trying to, be the censorship police. I'm just saying that I'd like people to feel comfortable attending, a sporting event. And if there are people there who are feeling uncomfortable because of that, we should take their feelings into consideration.
Yeah, I mean, look, Joshua says now we're being told how to enjoy soccer games. Nah, look, I'm not telling you. Do what you want, bro. Do literally what you want. I'm telling you what will happen if you do. And that's not what Stephen Woods has decreed. That's what SDFC has decreed. That's what MLS has decreed. So enjoy it. Enjoy, doing what you want to do, man. But I'm telling you, the consequences are coming if it continues to happen. At Snapdragon Stadium. That's just what they said.
There's a part of me that is starting to think that this is really getting blown up more than I think it should.
Agreed.
I'm like, this really?
It was
2 days after a home game. We're still doing this.
It was a top headline. I was looking at my AP Wire and they
Yeah.
do their top sports stories. It was like one of the 5 or 6 top. I mean, it was a slow news day yesterday, but ESPN's page, it was one of their headlines. San Diego FC Soccer Club issues statement. I mean, this has blown up into at least somewhat of a national story.
Yep.
For this new
But
team.
whether it's people in the chat right now or people that I've talked to, I've had more people say, totally normal thing to hear at a soccer match. I'm not offended. It's not offensive.
Yeah.
I don't understand what the big deal is. So for me, who is the casual of all casuals, I'm like, I don't even know what
It's
we're
hard
supposed
to talk
say
about.
here.
It's
I
hard.
really don't.
It is. It's hard to talk
I'm
about.
not trying to police anyone or anything like that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Again, you know what's coming if you continue to do it, and I think they've been pretty clear about that. So that's the side I fall on.
I mean, if Major League Baseball said, "Hey, if you boo, we're going to penalize your team," you'd have to stop booing, even if you're like, "This is the least offensive thing ever." Are you kidding me?
True.
We've been doing this forever.
But again, SDFC says they are going to take immediate steps to address the behavior. They're going to communicate a detailed plan.
That's pretty.
What does a detailed plan look like? Are they going to have, chanting police walking through Snapdragon Stadium, and if they hear it, they're going to start ejecting people immediately? How do you control a group of 35,000 people when it might be 4,000 who are actually doing it at the time?
Slur monitor.
It's tough. It's a tough position that they have already found themselves in already.
So Gus says it's only call in, you guys too, right? I'm down. I want to hear your perspective because again, I hate when that one time in the Christmas show we did the airing of the grievances, and the guy called in. He goes, "Woodsy, you're always telling me how to be a baseball fan." I go, "Son of a bitch, you're right. I'll stop." And I think I've done a good job. So don't listen to me. I don't want to come on here and be like, "Hey, I've been watching soccer for 15 minutes. Let me tell you guys how to go enjoy your soccer games." I never want that perception of me. So call in either side, right? What's our 833-288-0973.
One of those numbers.
833-288-0973.
I've done it before too.
Yeah. Having a rough morning.
I understand.
So I would love to hear your perspective on it. I would. And I know we have another segment, but we can push it. We have nothing.
Yeah,
today.
I mean, if you want to call
if
in,
you want to call in,
and certainly move things around this morning
and talk about it. And I see a lot of comparisons too. They're like, "Bro, you should see the games in Europe." I'm like, I've seen it. It's bananas. Like, it's truly, people die at soccer matches in other places around the world. I don't want that to happen at Snapdragon Stadium. Not saying that channel alone would do that, but what I am saying is they have laid out the consequences, and if we continue it's going to hurt our team, I think.
All right, we will update. We get some calls coming in, so if you want to join us, 833-288-0973. Just got a text from our midday host Craig. He goes, he's announced a lot of these matches. They have protocols in place. This is not a brand new story. They've dealt with it at Galaxy games. They've dealt with it at LAFC games. They've dealt with it at national, Mexican national team games. It's not a new thing.
No, it's not new.
It's just new for us with our team here in San Diego. But if you want to join us, I see some calls coming in. We'll get to those coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, I'll tell you about sdfatloss.com, my really amazing journey in losing 40 pounds in 60 days. I thought that seems like a lot. I'd be happy if I lose 20 pounds, right? But once I started the program and the weight started coming off up to a pound of fat per day, I realized, no, this is absolutely doable. You can do anything for 2 months. And it really wasn't that bad because I was eating normal foods, things I liked, steak, chicken, fish, vegetables, and still losing the weight. All you have to do is go to sdfatloss.com, sign up for your free consultation. Their counselors will explain their proprietary strategies, how they, help you, what to eat, when to eat, the portions that you eat, get you into the groove. The weight starts coming off. That is the best motivator. And then you just feel better. I mean, spring is a great time. I know that everyone likes to do the New Year's resolutions. This is the time where you're ready to get out. The weather's about to turn. Losing weight now, this is a fantastic time of year to do it. So in March, you can get $200 off the program when you sign up at sdfatloss.com. No injections necessary, no hormones or drugs, no exercise necessary to lose the weight. Just follow the plan like I did, like Scraby did, like Ello did, and you can lose big-time weight really quickly. Again, all you need to do is go to sdfatloss.com. That's sdfatloss.com. this. We may get to it later, but if we don't, I will remind you that it's brought to you by Trust and Will. Don't leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die. Do set up a Trust or Will online at trustandwill.com. It's a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. You definitely have some opinions on this subject. And I think for me, we're going to go out to the phones, 833-288-0973. Ultimately, what has happened at other places is they'll warn you, they'll pull the players off the field, and then they'll cancel the match.
Yeah,
and that's
that
what's
sucks.
probably going to happen at Snapdragon Stadium if the chants continue.
Yeah.
Is that what you want? You may disagree with the policy. Go
Sure.
ahead. It's your right. Free country. You can disagree with that policy, but that most certainly is going to be the policy. And if you want to go to a match and insist on chanting in the first 10 minutes and your team forfeits and you just have to leave after you paid for your tickets, go right ahead. But that's what's going to happen, if that's the stand that you take. But let's see what some of the tier ones have to say. And let's go south of the border, get that perspective. Alfredo, regular tier one. Thank you for calling in this morning on 97.3 The Fan. How are you?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Doing well, man.
Good. So listen, it's very simple. I think it's very simple, man. It's house rules. That's the rule of the house. You're not allowed to say that. The way, even when it started to the point that Ben was saying that this hasn't been something that just started 5 minutes ago or last season. Those are the house rules for the stadium. They don't want you to do it. Why? Because those are the house rules. It's the equivalent of going to someone's house and they don't let you smoke inside the house anymore. You're like, but I was able to do it before. Like, it doesn't matter. You can't do it anymore. You want to do it, go out outside. If you feel the urge to shout that, get out of your seat. Go down to the restroom. Go down to the parking lot. Scream it. Get out of your system. Go inside your car and then come back into the stadium. What's the big deal? Or come up with a new word. Get smart about it. Get intelligent. Bring out up a new word, a new way to insult the other team, and it's amazing. It's fantastic insulting the other team. But if they're telling you to not use a specific word or a specific language, then get creative and use something else. What word? That's not on me, man. I don't like screaming that in public. I reserve that for friends and other places. But I mean, I don't know, man. Like it's. I find it exhausting listening to the people that want to continue to say that they want to use the chant because it's fun. It's not. They already told you not to do it. Or, like they said, let's forfeit the game. Like, that's simple, I think.
The house rules thing makes a lot of sense.
I think so, too.
It makes a lot of sense
I mean, at home, you may say blackjack 22, it counts. But if you go to the casino and you
21.
say, hey, I think 22 should count as a blackjack, they're not going to let you win. You have to get to 21. Those are the house rules, Woods.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think that's a good way to put it. I'm sure that others have different perspective, but I like what he said. House rules. I mean, they've told, like I said, man, the consequences are there. They've told you.
I get that coming up with another word. I mean, it's a clever idea. You can call the goalie a potato if you want. I don't know that that's going to catch on, but that you certainly, there are things that people chant at soccer games that are absolutely fine. This one isn't. They've decided that it's not, and kind of have to live with it. Let's see if we've got some other perspectives. Let's go to Bobby. Bobby, welcome to Ben and Woods this morning on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning, Bobby.
A couple of things. So I took my kids to the game. The first soccer game that they attended was the Club America versus some other team at Snapdragon. And they were chanting this the whole game. And not once did that bulletin board ever come up.
Really?
So, yeah, not once. And I took them to this game. I'm a season ticket holder. I'm like right there, right at the corner kick. And they chanted this, and my kids were like excited to chant. They don't know what it means, right?
Yeah.
They're excited to be there. They're waiting for the ball to go out so that they can chant it again. And they're having the time of their life. And going back to what Paulie said, like when we take them to the Dodgers-Padres game, they're yelling F the Dodgers the whole time, all 45,000 of us, and not once do they ever tell us to stop.
It's wild.
And I think that's even worse because that's a word that we all understand.
Yeah, there's no gray area there. You know, like there's no term of I can call Ben an effer and mean it in a loving way, but for the most part, we know what that means. It's not said as a term of endearment. It's not said as a way to razz somebody. When I say blank you, I'm serious. I mean it. When I say, F you, I mean it. Right?
I mean, when we give someone the middle finger, I mean, I don't, but when other people do, it's generally, you know what that means.
Yeah.
It's rude.
Also, I can do it sweetly, though.
Can you?
Say something funny about me.
I don't know. You've put me on the spot here. I don't know what to say. Like,
compliment or say my sweatshirt sucks or something.
Patagonia again, Woods.
Right? It doesn't, look, there's
right
shades.
Here,
right here, pal. There's shades of gray on everything. But
and there are shades of gray here, too.
There really are.
Absolutely, there are.
I totally understand people's perspective on it, man. I do. I don't like, and Courtney's in the chat, saying the chant likely prevents a big portion of the population from feeling safe at a match. And that's really what you want. I mean, you do want everybody feeling safe there. And I think people would argue it's just a chant. It doesn't make people feel unsafe. But look, I don't know that there is no resolution here. There is no, hey, I've got the point that's going to drive this thing home for the, and here's the direct answer. Here's what's going to make sense. I think the only thing, again, I will hammer this point home. If they start forfeiting matches here, that's not a good thing ultimately. And if this thing continues to gather momentum and steam, it's not a good thing for SDFC.
Let's go to Nacho up in Escondido. Nacho, good morning. Welcome to Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Doing good. So I was at the game on Sunday with my wife. We're season ticket holders, and I honestly don't agree with the chant. Me and her never joined the chant. And I'm Mexican. I've been through it. I've been to Mexican stadiums. I've been to stadiums here. There's a reason why we don't go to Mexico national team games anymore. And then I feel like at the point it comes down to like a bunch of drunk people.
Yeah.
If you're going to go to a game, enjoy the game. Like you guys say, we're not telling you how to enjoy the game, but if you're going to drink, make sure you're respectful towards everybody,
Yeah, 100%, man. That's really.
I saw a lot of that on Saturday.
That's what it boils down to, man. It does boil down to, I think, controlling yourself, respect, a good environment. I mean, I've been to plenty of sporting events that were incredible. I was at a playoff game against the Dodgers, and it was the one we won by one run. It was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever been through. I did not hear enough the Dodgers chant that night. And I had the time of my life. I didn't really hear anybody screaming at the Dodgers that night. It was just a really cool environment and vibe. And I've also been to some really gnarly sporting events too. I've been to Yankees Red Sox before. I did not feel safe. I did not feel safe. It was not cool. It was kind of looking over my shoulder the whole time.
Go to a Friday night Padres Dodgers game.
Dude, 100%. Look around. And you don't necessarily feel like, hey, this is the safest place for me right now. I mean, it's true.
Now, from the other perspective, and you said it, last week when we were at spring training, you felt like people were getting a little overbearing when they complained that you were using
the F word.
The F word while we were at lunch.
Yeah.
A little too loudly.
Yeah.
Woman overheard
I was telling a story, and I'm very demonstrative.
You were. But you felt like, hey, mind your own business.
I didn't say, but what did I say to her?
Harmless. Nothing. But
I said, okay, no problem.
But it was, no one's saying, again, when they're chanting it at the state, they're chanting at the other team's goalkeeper. Are we doing all this to protect the other team's goalkeeper? Or are we doing it to protect the rest of the audience that's in the stadium? Who's the person that we're actually trying to protect here? Because you weren't directing your comments at her.
No.
But they were definitely overheard. They were loud. I mean, you were in a public place.
Yeah.
They were loud. It was able to be heard by other people there. Was that person in there right? Could the restaurant have asked you to tone it down?
Sure.
Would you have been okay with that if the waitress had, hey, can you just tone it down?
Yeah, look, I was embarrassed when she came over. I was like, oh God, so sorry. I did. I wasn't defiant. I wasn't like, I'm 50 years old. I can say this. Now, I said that privately when she walked away, but I did not say it to her. I just said, oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry about that. You move on. Self-awareness is key. Respect is key. I spoke too loudly, certainly. I could have easily gotten interface, told her to mind her business, but I didn't. I said, oh, sorry about that.
We're kind of at the mind your business phase of this story.
Yeah, we
At least
kind of
for
are.
some people are like, hey, well, let me fan the way I want to fan. Mind your own business. We're at that phase. I think my argument is we don't need to get to that phase. And you agreed. You didn't need to get to that phase.
Did not.
You may have disagreed with the policy or you may have disagreed with her opinion, but you weren't all going to make a big deal about it and go.
I wasn't. And I do think, look, it's definitely something to watch out for as we move forward. And, everyone that goes to the snap, I just want you to go have a great time, have a great time. And I'd hate to see our team penalized moving forward, and I think
you can I think you can have a great time without doing that chant easily. I think people who feel uncomfortable by it are having less of a good time when, the game's being stopped and people are chanting. So in that sense,
it gave me I definitely seeing it on TV, but made me like, oh boy, here we go. Let's not.
I had no idea. I heard it.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah.
I really didn't. I've heard the word before.
Yeah.
And I thought I had the interpretation down, and apparently I was wrong.
Yeah.
But I just, this is all new.
Yeah, it's
and I don't think I'm alone in that.
Well, I think a lot of soccer fans, it's not new to them,
Sure.
as Alfredo said. It's been going on for a while. But the house rules thing does make some sense to me. And they've been very, very, they have not left much gray area, at SDFC, what they will and will not tolerate. So it is what it is at this point. We move on. It's really, it's snowballed like crazy. Like you said, man, top story in the AP. Like, it's just crazy. So you always want San Diego on the map. You never want San Diego on the map for bad news.
All right, we're going to move on as well. Appreciate all the tier ones who called in. Sorry I didn't have time for everyone, but I do want to get to back to some baseball talk and look at some of the other wild card contenders that the Padres are going to be battling with in the National League and what they're going to need to do to get to where they want to go the postseason that is coming up next.
And what would you do with an extra $75,000 right now, even a couple $100,000? If you're a homeowner right now, listen up. You can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto, my beloved Loan Pronto, the leader in quickly converting your home's equity into cold hard cash so you can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. The average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. You can use that money. All right. Get out from under personal loans, car loans, credit cards. You can get approved in as little as a day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. 619-207-4336, loanpronto.com. Get the money you need for anything by calling 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, and NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
All right. Just first reaction was, what team worries you the most in terms of the Padres' competition for wild card spots in the National League this season?
It's a good question.
I know what division they're in.
I think the Mets or Braves, whoever doesn't win the East, seems like they're a really good bet for one of the wild cards.
Yeah, man, I really.
And the Phillies are a good bet too.
Oh, God,
so that means,
dude.
I mean, if that's true,
What's a better division? Mets, Braves, Phillies, and then you got the Nationals and the Marlins, or Dodgers, Padres, Diamondbacks, and then you kind of have the Giants. You never really know with them. And but then you have the Rockies.
They're the ultimate crap
West
shoot.
Coast Marlins.
The Giants. Honestly, man, I think when you have a team like the Dodgers in your division, it immediately kind of bumps you to the top. I'd say that with the Dodgers, Padres, and D-backs, Benny, the D-backs games are going to be very important this season.
I agree.
They're kind of the one that scare me. They've got really good players. They've got a really good manager, and did not get off to the hottest start last year. They're going to be tough. They have really good starting pitching. They've got guys that can swing it. Now they did lose some guys as well, but I like their club a lot. They're the ones that probably scare me. Obviously when you go across the country and you look at the East, right? Like you just said, whoever doesn't win the division, and put to it today, I think it's the Braves division to lose. Right now, they had an injury yesterday. Sean Murphy out 4 to 6 weeks. I think he got drilled by like a 97-mile-an-hour heater, broke a rib. I mean, Lord, he's out 4 to 6 weeks. So they're going to have to figure that out. They got rid of Darno, but man, they look pretty stacked right now. That's going to be a tough first opponent for the Padres.
There are paths to the postseason for the Padres, no doubt about it.
Sure.
Because I think they can, they simply are a good enough team that they'll be able to win enough games to get them in there. But there are a lot of potential landmines on that road for the Padres and things that aren't entirely in their control. Yeah, you can go out and win 95 games, and yeah, you're going to get in no matter what at that point. But when you look at the other divisions, yes, the East is very good with the top 3 teams, and they'll beat up on each other a little bit, but they got 2 lesser teams that they get to beat up on in their division.
Yeah.
That'll help buffet the records of all 3 of those teams, meaning there's a good chance that 3 playoff teams and 2 wild card teams come out of the East. Would be good for the Padres if one of those teams faltered and did not have a very good season. Don't know, I don't know that I see it coming. The Mets are spending a ton. They added Juan Soto. I mean, you can't see them missing the playoffs. The Braves getting healthier. We're already a playoff team last year, even on a non-healthy season. Can't see them missing the playoffs. The Phillies didn't do a ton. What did the Phillies do? They acquired Jesus Luzardo from the Marlins.
They lost Jeff Hoffman to the Blue Jays.
They were the least active of teams, but they have a good, like the Padres, they
have a good core,
consistency and a good core,
and good starting pitching.
They're probably actually the most Padres-like team.
They are
in the National League. They may be the biggest competition for the Padres in the end. It may come down to the Padres and Phillies for the last wild card spot. Could be the Padres and Diamondbacks.
Let me go through these teams. Probably get the dings or the buzzers ready, and I'll just ask you, Benjamin. The Chicago Cubs, do they worry you?
Yeah, well, they worry me unless, they just run away and win the division. Then you're not competing against them for a playoff spot, but they're definitely a playoff contender.
Okay, so that's a ding.
Yeah.
Colorado Rockies.
No.
Cincinnati Reds. Sleeper for me, man.
For sure.
A sleeper.
They're one of those teams that you do not want to take a big leap this season. Because then you're competing against one of the if the Cubs and Reds are both good and the other teams are not, and they're beating up on those 3 teams, they could easily just, back their way into 90 wins. And all of a sudden now you've got a wild card team coming out of the Central. That's bad news for teams in the East and the West. That's bad news for the Phillies, the Padres, and the Diamondbacks. If 2 teams in the Central have really good seasons, that makes the road to the playoffs in the National League that much tougher for all the East and West teams.
I'm telling you, the friggin' NL is crazy good. The Giants, do they worry you? Yes.
Now, they worried me more at the beginning of the offseason.
Yeah.
They jumped in,
got Willie Adames.
They go Justin Verlander. I go, okay, they're in it to win it. And then all of a sudden, they just hit the brakes. Just, all right, we're done. And you kind of thought, okay, well, they didn't really do enough then.
Dodgers, Diamondbacks, we've talked about.
Clearly all contenders.
The Brewers are another one that seemingly lose all their players and continue to play well.
I mean, Brewers Black Magic.
Right.
Can they do it again after losing Adames? I mean,
and Devin Williams.
Devin Williams, what's left? You just feel like at some point the wheels are going to fall off their wagon. And that's a worrisome too. You kind of want the Brewers to be like an 82 win team.
Yeah.
You want them beating the Cubs and the Reds enough that they're not just
a turd.
Because if the Pirates and the Brewers and who's the other team? The Cardinals, who were bad last year, if they all are awful this year, and they all could be, because the Cardinals did nothing this offseason. Nothing. The Pirates, they've done a little bit, but at least you actually are glad they have Paul Skeens. Because they could actually beat some of the teams in their division and, hand them some L's. But if there's 3 bad teams in that division and 2 good teams, all of a sudden the playoff spot is going to be stolen by the weakest division. And you don't want to see that if you're in the West or the East.
There's really 4 teams maybe in the NL, 4 or 5 teams that you're just not worried about. The Cardinals, the Marlins,
the Rockies, Pirates
and
maybe.
Nationals kind of in there. And other than that, man, you feel like everyone's got a pretty decent squad. It's going to be health dependent, right? It's going to be who can stay healthy. Can some of these rotations weather the storm? But the NL is stacked. It's going to be a tough road for the San Diego Padres to make the playoffs. They are going to have to handle business, and they are going to have to stay healthy.
The Diamondbacks signing of Corbin Burns has got to be one of the more concerning moves for a Padres fan in the offseason. Was it a smart move? 6 years, $210 million for a pitcher who is clearly on the decline in his career. If you look at the numbers for Corbin Burns, he's still one of the best pitchers in the league, but
it's trending.
They're trending and trickling down. That may ultimately be a bad deal, but in the short term, that's a very worrisome contract for San Diego Padres fans, because it will probably bolster the Diamondbacks in ways that, will make them a clear playoff contender.
It sure is tough to handicap the NL this year. It just is. It's tough to handicap. I mean, a lot of there's some sexy picks. I think the Reds being one of them. What can they do with Tito as their manager? Ellie De La Cruz is off to a scorching hot start. It is just spring training. I am aware of that, but he is a dynamic young player. They've got some young pitching that is ready to take the next step. They are kind of a sneaky, sexy team.
Who did they get? They added Gavin Lux. They got Taylor Rogers in a trade in this offseason. It's mostly the development of their own players getting, if they all come together and get better, they seem like they could be kind of a scary team.
Yeah, fun and kind of scary team right now. And again, with a really, really good manager, So I don't know, man. It's when you kind of start piecing it out and parsing it out, it does, you look at it and go, all right, it does feel a little more dire than maybe it did 20 minutes ago, because I look at the team after spending a few days with them in spring training and I go, yeah, man, I love these players. I love these guys. We've got the horses to get there. But you got to remember, man, there's a lot of other teams that have improved this offseason. So I can't wait to get it going. I really can't.
I think if you're fair, I think the other teams look at the Padres and absolutely look at them as a really serious threat. Maybe more so than some of their own teams. They're probably having this reverse conversation in other cities going, how do we get past the Padres? They won 93 games last year. They got their core intact. They added Nick Pivetta to strengthen their starting rotation. If I'm analyzing it from an outside perspective looking in, I go, that Padres team is going to be a tough one to steal a wild card spot from at the end of the season.
Yeah, no question. Nationals are a team that a lot of people are talking about too, that have some really, really good young talent. As we know, we gave them most of the young talent that they have, but they've got some guys ready to take the next step as well, which is great. We want them playing their division very, very tough.
You kind of do. It's weird. It's weird. You don't want them stealing your playoff spot, but you do want some of these quote unquote, bad teams, the lower
or the team, because in the NL, Benny, as far as bad teams, the Miami Marlins are going to be atrocious. The Colorado Rockies will be very bad.
And the Padres need, and we've said this many times, Padres need to beat up on the Rockies. They cannot have another season in which they go 6-7 against the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah.
They just can't. And the way it is set up this year, for the wild card in the Padres, they must beat up on the Rockies. Now, they didn't last year, but they overcame it by they swept the Nationals, they swept the Pirates, all of the I think didn't they go 12-0 against the Nationals and Pirates? I think they did last year, which you can't expect that to happen again. I don't think that that's a reasonable expectation. The Pirates and with Skeens, they didn't have to face Skeens last year. They had those weird games against the Nationals in which they, Jurickson got fired up. They pulled him out of the fire, walk-offs and all the dramatic things that happened. That's kind of not something you can replicate this season. So you have to do well against them, but you can't do poorly against the Rockies.
No, you just can't. You just can't. I'm really excited to see how this thing shakes out. And hopefully you're one of the last six standing at the end of the year. But the NL is a force. It's a force. They got really, really good teams and a lot of teams on the come. And yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Don't think that it won't be. It will be.
All right, we need to check traffic. We got a few more minutes at the top of the hour. If you've got some thoughts, 833-288-0973 on the Padres playoff chances here in 2025 on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Just a couple things to mention here, guys. A crash on eastbound 8 at Mollison. Got a car and semi involved. Not showing if lanes are blocked, but looks like tow truck is rolling up to help out with that. Also, reports of a possible brush or encampment fire northbound 15 Arrow Drive. Smoke visible from the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick at Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station. 97.3, The Fan.
All right, so, I mean, the Mets, they're going to be good. The Braves, I mean, they didn't do a ton. They had a Jurickson profile. That was probably their signature move. They're kind of relying just on a bounce back to
health from Acuna.
If they're healthy, they didn't need to add
They
a lot
They
more.
really didn't, dude. I saw Braves fans were mad, and I'm like, man, I just saw your lineup. It's dirty. It's dirty. Your rotation is filthy. Filthy. A healthy rotation of Chris Sale, Schwellenbach, Strider, and Reynaldo Lopez. Like, they're dirty as hell, dude. They're Smith Shawver. I mean, they've got a couple of other kids coming up that are like right on the perch of breaking through.
Padres actually catch a break in facing them as early as they do in this 4-game series.
No Strider. It's 4 games to start.
It's 4 games. No Strider. No Acuna.
Okay.
And now no catcher. Sean Murphy is going to be out for a month. They just announced that yesterday. Due to an injury. Now, that does open the door to their top prospect, a kid named Drake Baldwin, who is ranked really highly in like the top 100. He's a catching prospect. Are they going to, bring him up right away? Or are they going to go with Chadwick? Chadwick Tromp is the only catcher now on their 40-man roster. So they either have to promote him or they have to make a move to acquire some catching with Murphy likely to miss the first couple of weeks of the season, at least after the injury yesterday. And I forget what the injury was. Fractured rib. Ouch. So he's going to be out to start the season. So the Padres aren't catching the Braves at their absolute peak. But, they'll face them again later in the year in Atlanta. But this is actually, I think, a decent time to get 4 games against Atlanta at Petco Park.
I mean, look, they're one of the teams I look at as almost guaranteed to make the playoffs this year. They know how to win. They've got the pieces in place. If Strider, especially, Strider stays healthy and Acuna stays healthy, Ben, sky's the limit for them. They got a good rotation. They got a good bullpen. They're going to be a really fun team to watch. They're going to be a tough team to play, and they're going to be a thorn in the side if they're healthy in the playoffs. Watch out, man. That's a World Series contender for sure.
I think so for sure. Again, I think it's interesting. We're going to go to Philadelphia this summer. Looking forward to it, but. That to me now, all of a sudden, just having this conversation, that to me feels like one of the pivot teams in the National League. The Padres, the Diamondbacks, the Phillies are kind of pivot teams in the National League that everyone's going to be keeping an eye on during the summer, is to see their playoff chances kind of rise and fall with how those teams are playing this year.
Yeah, you could probably have the Giants maybe to that.
Yeah, certainly if they get off to a good start, they bounce back. They're such a tough team to evaluate because would it shock anybody if the Giants had an unexpectedly good season out of nowhere?
No.
I don't think it would.
Would it shock you if you won 77 games?
No,
not really.
No. I have no idea how to handicap the Giants.
No, zero. What's their set? What's it set at? Their wins. My guess is probably 81. I mean,
I bet they're
probably my
like
guess.
79.
You think so?
MLB future.
Jung Ho Lee's healthy. He's playing pretty well.
Giants I got at 79.5.
Oh, man, should be a handicapper. Oh, raw dog over
Well,
there.
it depends on the site. 80.5, 79.5 on a couple different sites. So
yeah.
I mean, part of that is just because of the division they play in, though. You know, 3 really solid playoff contenders in their division, knowing you've got 39 games or, 40 games against those 3 teams. That's a tough road to hoe.
Bro, thank whoever
Giants.
you thank that for the balanced schedule.
Yeah, no question. No question.
Yeah, I mean, it could be 60 games against those teams.
Holy.
I'm getting up for the Rockies game like it is game 7. I'm painting my face.
Live broadcast
for every Rockies game. Dude, that's a great idea. Like,
it's just us in a parking lot.
I think we should do a bit with it. And like, this is the World Series. Like, we get Schilt on, like on those days. We're like, hey, enough. I don't care if he's banged up. He's got to play. We need our best 9 out there.
All right. Speaking of, over-unders for win totals, this would be a good year to be the American League. So the top 7 teams make the playoffs. Let's see. If you go to the National League, Dodgers, Braves, Phillies here, top 3. Mets are 5th. Then Diamondbacks are 6th. And then Cubs and Padres are 7th and 8th. They're both at 85.5 over-under on the side I'm looking at. So, right, the Cubs, though, are playing for the division. So, but in the American League, you go down to 7th, and it's all the way down to the Royals at 83.5. So this would be a better year maybe to be in the American League than the National League if you want to be a playoff contender.
Well, maybe we can get switched over to the AL Central at some point. Would be great.
All right, I just had word from Paulie.
Yeah, we are about to go to break. You're going to have 5 minutes. If you're listening, maybe you want to go over to the YouTube stream because this will be a little bit visual, but we have tracked down.
You got it?
Woodsy's QC Kinetics commercial.
Dude.
And I was trying not to laugh.
Is it that bad?
Do we have the video? Can we play it on the YouTube stream? All right, so if you want to jump on the YouTube stream to see it, you'll have the audio if you're not. But
I'll
have Woodsy's new TV commercial when we come back to the second half of Ben and Woods. Don't go away. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Halfway home on a Tuesday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Thanks so much for being here. Odd start to the program this morning. I don't want to rehash. You can go back and listen. Anywhere that you go back and listen to things, wherever you get your podcasts, or go back and watch the YouTube feed. But yeah, just wanted to say thanks again to all of to everyone out there with a lot of kind messages this morning, and a lot of similar stories to mine. Too many to count. I mean, really, people that I did not know had some similar backgrounds.
That's awful and awesome at the same time.
Yeah, shooting me some messages this morning, so I really appreciate it. Can't thank you enough. I'm blown away continuously by this audience every single day, and by this city. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer of the program. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, very kind this morning, gave me a hug unsolicited. You never have given me an unsolicited hug.
No, it's true. You've
I
always
appreciate
just
it.
taken them.
Yeah, I just take them.
But this one I gave.
Thank
this
you.
one I gave freely. I also want to thank the Tier 1s for their sympathy for my termite problem.
Yes.
They've been very kind and very empathetic, because
As they
no
should
one
be.
wants to have a termite problem at their house.
No, they don't.
Before we get to Woodsy's TV commercial, just quick update on the safe that was found at my grandparents'
Oh,
house.
God, yes. We talked
over
about it
the
yesterday.
weekend. Not much of an update. Mom is still waiting for the estate guy to give her the number of the safe guy. Although we did get an invitation, and Mom said if we want to go up for the opening of the safe and film it for the show, we can go and do that. So I'll keep you updated on the scheduling of potential safe cracking at the Curlin house.
I do feel like
that does happen.
It could potentially have Geraldo vibes, the vaults of Al Capone.
She doesn't think there's anything in there.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not, but there could be. There absolutely could be.
That's the beauty of that's the beauty of the mystery. I mean, I
mean, people don't have safes for nothing.
That's right. That's
but they
right.
also at some point, clear them out and realize, all right, I had it for something.
Yeah.
It's the
and
fact
now I
that
don't have it for anything.
people don't have second secret safes.
That's the
for nothing.
thing. All right.
That's what's killing me. I need to know.
Question for you guys. I've thought about this a lot. If you had, I always thought it would be cool to have the safe behind the big painting.
Right. The secret panel of some sort. Yeah.
The secret panel safe would be great. But the one he looks around, takes the big painting off, and then and he pulls out his stacks of cash, his guns, his drugs, whatever he keeps in there. He's got it behind the big painting.
Yeah.
I've been to homes before now.
Dogs
these days
playing poker.
they have they have big gun safes, like big ones that stay in the garage. That makes sense to me. I have a very tiny, it's about maybe yay by
Like a hotel.
Yeah, it's like a hotel safe.
Almost.
We have a hotel safe. I mean, what's it? I got my passports in there.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Pretty much.
Combination.
Pretty much. Yeah, I got passports in there. Like,
Paulie, how do I open this thing
yeah,
again?
yeah, Paulie, what's my code? But I just wonder, I wonder if there's any tier 1s in the chat or on Twitter or whatever. You ever what'd you find at your parents' house, your grandparents' house? Because my mom, I think I've told this story before. My mom's grandparents lived in literally in Wynne, Arkansas. Ben, Wynne, W-Y-N-N-E. I'm pretty sure
like
that's how you spell it.
Marvell Wynne, former Padre.
If you need to connect it to
I do. I do.
Sports guy, you can.
I do.
And you do. But they lived through the Great Depression. And so when it came to people of that generation trusting banks, it was not going to happen. So my mom tells the story about my great grandfather's wife would say, I need money to go to the store. And he'd be like, well, all right, hang on. And he'd go into the back room and shut the door. Don't come in here. And he'd get into the mattress and pull money out of the mattress. And so they kept all their money. My mom said the rumor was when they passed that they had money hidden in the door jambs of their homes, in mattresses, in the floorboards and things like that. So I'm wondering, have any tier 1s ever, gone up, your parents passed away or grandparents, you went up to the attic, you found a, Picasso or something, or what's the greatest find? You don't know it could be jewels in there, Ben. Gold bullion.
Diesel says my dad once found some gold coins in a mirror frame above the bed.
Ooh.
In a house in Coronado. He was demoing it, knocking it down.
Do you get to keep those? You have to turn them over.
I don't know.
Yes.
I would think you're supposed to turn it over, but how would anyone know that you found them? unless
great-grandmother
Diesel
and-
tells everybody on a radio chat
Yeah, right.
that you found them, and now there's problems.
Adam says, my great-grandmother and grandma's house, I found jars of money buried in the backyard due to them being Depression-era people.
The Depression folks, man, you could no, you don't understand. We have now created insurance, FDIC. It's fine. They're like, there is no way you're putting my money in this bank. I don't care what letters you give it. You're not giving it to me. I'm not giving you my money. Man, that's great. Look at this. Bryson says, my ex-wife is Russian. Her entire family hoards cash, like legit would find thousands of dollars in the bar, like the bar area. That's crazy to me. If I have cash, I just spend it. I just spend it. It's nuts. Oh, they don't have FDIC anymore? They're insured. Your money's insured in the bank.
I really don't know. It's like your deductible. I don't understand how banking works exactly.
But anyway, dude, the allure of what could be in there is just Bo. I picked him up from school yesterday. He goes, then he knew, did Ben find anything in the safe? I go, they haven't cracked it yet. He's like, oh God, what is taking so long? So
figure it
out, bro. I won't be able to make it up to LA if they do it the next
This
couple
weekend,
days. Yeah, I'll be going to Las Vegas. But
all right, we'll take a video of it.
Yeah,
for you.
good. I would like to see it.
All right, Paulie, you have tracked down. Just started airing maybe yesterday, but Woods did a TV commercial last week for QC Kinetics. I like the turnaround, quick production there at the Channel 10 studios.
Well, I'm a professional.
I've not seen this
I'm
yet.
a professional actor. No, this is now my second.
I mean, you
TV
said it only
commercial.
took you what?
15 minutes?
15 minutes to
Yeah.
get this done. All right, looks like they did some production value. Let's check it out.
I'm
here.
gonna throw
If nagging joint pain has upended your life, listen,
That's
there's
not
a
you.
solution for long-lasting relief. No surgery, drugs, or downtime. Woodsy from KFWM, The Fan here in San Diego, knows firsthand.
I'm an avid golfer, but my joints hurt so bad I couldn't even grip a club. After treatment at QC Kinetics, I've got no pain. My golf game's still terrible, but it's not because of my wrists. What they did for me was life-changing. They are truly the real deal.
Find out if you're a candidate for this
Watch 1
game-changing therapy. Call
I did not
QC
look at
Kinetics
it.
today for
I
a
can't.
free consultation.
You were just kind of, they had you had just a white background. It was like very stark. You had your golf club over your shoulder. for
Had
the
your
most part.
golf club over
That's
my
right,
shoulder.
My 7-iron. My 7-iron got in a TV commercial.
It sure did.
That's
yeah.
pretty cool.
That's your 7-iron.
The Woodsy, they just call you Woodsy, WODSY.
I like that. That's what I go by.
Yeah,
From
97.
KWFN.
Yeah, they
The
threw in
Fan.
they threw in the call letters there.
Adam.
I don't know if that's a legal thing or something. They
Adam's losing his mind.
have to. They put in 97 through the fan on the graphic at least.
Well, your thoughts?
The follow through is nice on your swing. Not
So
bad.
I didn't
Let's
have.
watch it again.
I didn't. Oh God, I
You
didn't
wanna
have the
straighten your
most.
arm a little
I
bit.
did not
If
have
nagging joint pain has
the
upended
most
your
room
life, listen, there's a
to
solution
swing.
for
There are lights
long-lasting
everywhere.
relief. No surgery, drugs, or downtime. Woodsy from KFWM, The Fan
at
here
that
in San
pensive
Diego, knows
glare.
firsthand.
I'm an avid golfer, but my joints hurt so bad I couldn't even grip a club. After treatment at QC Kinetics, I've got no pain. My golf game's still terrible, but it's not because of my wrists. What they did for me was life-changing. They are truly the real deal.
Find out if you're a candidate for this game-changing therapy. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation.
The QC Kinetics actual patient. Your actual patient.
Legit patient.
I see what you're talking about. How you told us about when you filmed it last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever, how you're looking this way, but the camera's clearly off to your left because they're getting you at an angle. And that's obviously how they wanted to shoot it. But I can see how that's uncomfortable.
It was, and it looks uncomfortable, and I don't look comfortable in it.
Well, you're supposed to be talking like the interviewer, not looking straight in the camera. It's actually very awkward when you look straight into a camera sometimes. I do it on TV as an anchor, you looking straight into the camera because you're talking to the viewer. But most of the time when we shoot a story, I always have to tell the subject, look at me, not at the camera.
Yeah.
It looks weird if you're looking at the camera. You're talking to me. I'm standing to the side of the camera. So look at me, not the camera, please.
I still remember, God, 6 years ago, whatever, when Ben had both of us in studio and you were sitting next to me and I kept going back and watching because you would keep going like this. You keep looking out of the corner of your eye at the camera.
Like you're spying on you or something.
Yeah. So somebody asked, did you improvise those lines? And I did actually. The original copy was, I'm an avid golfer and, my golf game's never been better. And that's a bold-faced lie. That's bold-faced. And so I asked them when I went in there and I said, my golf game sucks. And people that know me are going to be like, you're lying. My golf game's terrible, but it's truly not. My wrists are great. My golf game is terrible because I'm a terrible golfer. So I asked them if I could put my own spin on it.
It's good credit to you, though, that you believe in truth in advertising.
Yes.
It means that you can trust Woodsy.
Correct.
When he tells you something.
Yeah. Did you go all method acting? Yes.
How many takes?
So I read the whole thing maybe 4 times. And that was it. And they're like, all right, we got it. I'm like, oh, this is great. So in and out in 15 minutes. But yeah, my game is dog ass right now, but my wrists feel great.
And with that white background, we now have a very memeable
shot
of Woods that can be incorporated into
now,
just about anything.
The one thing I was worried about, I hate it so much. The one thing I was worried about was, did I greasy wink the camera? And I thought I did, but I didn't notice.
I didn't see anything
because
I kind of jumping back and forth.
Yeah, I said my golf game is terrible, but it's not because of my wrist. And I feared that I had a greasy wink in there. So there it is, the QC Kinetics commercial. What did I put in my rider? Bottle of water. That's it. That's all I needed. A couple sips of water, and I was, you know what my rider is? Get me out of here in 15 minutes. That's on my rider.
That's the best rider of all.
I can't be here all
Riders
day.
are the little like the sidelines and contracts.
Yeah.
That bands ask for.
Yeah.
Hey, all M&Ms, they all have to be green in the dressing room.
Yeah.
That would be a rider.
Yeah.
But you didn't have anything overly weird in yours.
Correct.
All right, let's take time out. When we come back, it's time for Take on Woods. You can battle the QC Kinetics TV star himself in our musical trivia challenge with a chance to qualify for the Alanis Morissette concert and trip to Las Vegas. Had a qualifier yesterday. You can be number 2, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Call now. We'll play as soon as we come back after a check of traffic from Kelly Danick here on 97.3 The Fan.
I'm crying right now. People in the chat now.
You guys are too good.
Woodsy, are you catching the acting bug? No, I'm not. I hate I hate that I'm on camera right now. I like to be on the mic. I don't like to be on camera. Very uncomfortable. But people are like, hey, listen. Hi, I'm Stephen Woods, here to talk to you about Cash for Gold. Are you sick of falling down too far from a phone? Hi, I'm Woodsy from 97.3 The Fan, here to talk to you about Life Alert. This one laid me out. Where is it? Damn it.
I've got, this is Diesel. Have you or a loved one suffered injury or death from mesothelioma?
Woodsy here. Sure, I've had brushes with Johnny Law in my past. No, I always turn to King Stallman bail bonds. That's right, folks.
I will make you a cash offer on your home today, Stephen Woods.
So good.
I wish we had like a
do all of
AI Woodsy where I could just put in the script. I'd have 20 different commercials ready for tomorrow morning.
Hey, it's your old pal Woods. Are you sick of your timeshare? Let me get you out of it.
In an accident, need an attorney.
That's just incredible, dude. I mean, like I said, I'm really uncomfortable on camera. I don't like it. It's not for me. I don't look good. And but I love them so much that when they asked me, I said, 100%, whatever you guys need. I truly believe in the product and they've taken such great care of me. And I know too, like if I'm banged up, I just shoot them a text. Like, hey, can I come in and get treatment? They're like, come on in. So yeah, man, I'll go do it. I'll be uncomfortable for 30 seconds and get made fun of for that because I just love them. So that was a lot of fun. The swing turned out better than I thought it would.
Yeah, not bad.
I didn't have, like I said, there were lights and like big.
Maybe when you're playing golf, you should imagine that you're in a room
shorten
filled
up
with lights.
Yeah, that's true.
Shorten up your swing a little bit.
Well, remember when I had the ultimate golf hack there for a while and it worked a couple of rounds. Remember the tempo drill I had? Remember that, Paulie?
Oh, yeah.
You take it. So that was it. You go. One more time. There it is.
The tempo.
The hawk to a tempo.
The tempo reminder.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, we got a couple of contestants on the line. Let's get to it. It is time to play. Take on Woods. All right, let's go to line number 2 here. Caller, who's this?
Brendan.
Brendan, would you like to play Take on Woods?
Yeah.
Well, then you are our contestant today. Woodsy's left the studio. You're going to get 5 questions of musical trivia. If you beat or tie Woods' score, you will qualify for our grand prize drawing. And this month, we're sending you to Las Vegas to see Alanis Morissette at the Coliseum at Caesars Palace. You're also going to get a 2-night stay at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino and a $100 gas card for our grand prize nominees. You can go to Ticketmaster.com, get your own tickets for Alanis Morissette. All right, here are your categories to choose from today, Brendan. We've got Don't Call Me Jonathan, 5 song titles that include nicknames for Jonathan. V for Victory, 5 song titles starting with the letter V. And our new category today, Playing the Blues, 5 bands that all have the word blue or blues in their name. Don't Call Me Jonathan, V for Victory, or Playing the Blues. Brandon, what'd you like? Brendan.
Let's do V for Victory?
V for Victory. All right, today's category, again, it's 5 song titles. They're all one-word song titles, and they all begin with the letter V. You'll have 60 seconds to get as many of the 5 as you can. If you don't know an answer, you can say pass. We will come to it at the end of the clock if there's still time left. First questions are 2-second song. Paulie will play you the music. You need to identify the song title, and the artist to score that point, and then we'll go on from there. Brendan, are you ready to play?
Ready.
All right, Paulie, you good to go?
I'm ready.
All right, let's put 60 seconds on the clock. The category is V for Victory. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Brendan. Let's take on Woods.
Pass.
Which 1990 song by Madonna shares a name with a popular fashion magazine?
Vogue.
Correct. Bananarama had a 1986 hit when they covered which 1969 song by the Dutch rock band Shocking Blue? Which U2 song begins with the Spanish words for 1, 2, 3, 14?
Pass.
Steve Winwood invokes which woman's name when he sings Call on Me in a 1982
Valerie.
hit? Correct. Let's go back to the 2-second song.
Pass.
Bananarama had a 1986 hit when they covered which
Venus.
Correct. Which U2 song begins with the Spanish words for 1, 2, 3, 14? Uno, dos, tres, catorce. That's Vertigo. And the 2-second song was Vacation by the Go-Go's with 3. Pretty good score. Brendan, stay on the line. You got Vogue, Venus, and Valerie. Let's bring Woods back in. Think he can do 3. I think he can probably do 4, maybe 5. We'll see. Never know. He doesn't get the category, so it's definitely a tougher game for him. I think we sometimes downplay that a little bit, but definitely a more challenging game for you. All right, Brendan's score is locked in. 60 seconds back on the clock. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Brendan.
Pass.
Which 1990 song by Madonna shares a name with a popular fashion magazine?
Vogue.
Correct. Bananarama had a 1986 hit when they covered which 1969 song?
Hazy Shade of Winter.
Incorrect.
No!
Which U2 song begins with the Spanish words for 1, 2, 3, 14?
Vertigo.
Correct. Steve Winwood invokes which woman's name when he sings Call on Me?
Valerie.
Correct. Let's go back to the 2-second song.
The Go-Go's?
Mm-hmm.
It's not. Wait.
What were the other answers?
Valerie. Vertigo. Oh, Vacation?
Go! Correct! And that is the winner, 4-3
Thank
for
God.
Woods, which means Bananarama
is Venus.
Venus. It was V for victory. Brendan, well played. Not quite good enough today. And I feel bad. I made Woods think about it, at least, on the category, and he got it.
Oh. Oh, my God, man.
That's for you, KG, in the chat.
Got a lot of messages about those noises yesterday. Oh, my God. Oh.
Your victory
Oh,
noises.
my God, man. Put your pants back on. Just self-slurp the whole time. Those are you got some tournament drops in there, I think.
I don't know. Is it one
long one?
One seed? Is it 5, 2, and 3 seeds?
3 seeds, yeah, exactly.
You have to leave that up to bracketologist.
Yeah, that's
Ben.
true. I'm going to need all the
guys-
clips in you need to give me the list, and I can start putting them into our seedings
You got
for
your
next
work.
week.
You got
I
your
do.
work cut out for you. Oh my God, man. That's got to be it. I think the "Oh my God, man" has got to be the one that makes it in. Oh my God, man. Put your pants back on.
Well, that's a good one too.
Jay wants me to do his outgoing voicemail message in that bedroom voice. Absolutely not. Oh God, you just reached Jay's phone. Oh my God. Put your pants back on.
I believe Schulte is addressing the media now in Peoria, Arizona. And when we come back, spring training Sammy is going to get us caught up after a day off in Arizona on what's
Caught
going
up
on
on
right
what?
now. I don't know. Schulte, whatever Schulte has to say right now.
Well, we already did the refrigerator tour with Sammy. What's
That's
next?
true. Well, he'll be at the complex.
Sammy, go to
today.
your rental car. Open it up. Let's see what's inside.
And we still have some tickets to give away to Padres spring training as well. Maybe we can do that in conjunction with Sammy's visit coming up. Stay tuned. More Ben and Woods on the way on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Padres are back in action today after the day off yesterday. Split squad games this afternoon. One in Peoria against the Giants, and then one in Mesa against the Cubs. I know Nick Pavetta and Matt Waldron are at least scheduled to start those games. We'll see if that's still the plan. I believe Mike Schilt has addressed the media, and our Sam Levitt is standing by. Why don't we get to Sammy right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Hamul Casino. Got a few problems here. Northbound 5 past Coronado Avenue. There is a collision involving a couple of vehicles. They're over to the right shoulder, but watch out for some debris reported in lanes. Also going to find on westbound 8 at the 5 crash blocking the fast lane. Eastbound 52 right past Regents Road. A collision involving car and a motorcycle. That's over the right shoulder. Hey, players, things are about to get real here in San Diego with the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. Gorgeous boutique rooms and suites, exciting new eats and drinks, and a rooftop pool. It gets real this summer at Hamul Casino Resort, a player's place. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
If you'd like to join Sam Levitt at spring training while we're talking to him, we're also going to give away here a 4-pack of tickets to a Padres spring training game at the Peoria Sports Complex and qualify someone for our grand prize, 4 tickets to the Padres Guardians game at Petco Park on April 2nd. While we talk to Sammy, Paulie's going to take the 4th caller at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. You can get your tickets now at PeoriaBaseball.com, and we welcome, it looks like a very bright, sunny day out in Arizona again. Sam Levitt is with us on 97.3 The Fan. Hi, Sammy. Yeah, it looks very bright today.
It is very bright. Sun is shining right on me, but thankfully I've got my UV moisturizer on. The sunny's on, and I'm ready to go. But beautiful day. We continue to have terrific weather, so that's always nice.
What is that truck behind you that looks like it's got like graffiti on? Is that the Cisco truck? I can't tell.
That's a Cisco truck.
Oh, okay.
We knew that Cisco truck well.
Food.
I didn't see the. It was a.
It's like an avocado. They got like some sort of vegetables.
Oh,
on the
okay.
side,
Yeah, tastefully decorated. Yeah. All right, Sammy, what's shaking out at the complex today, buddy?
Yeah, I'll give you a few updates here from the last hour or so. Obviously, split squad action, as you mentioned, Ben. Padres going to Scottsdale to play the Giants, and then they're here against. I'm blanking. Who are they playing against here?
I thought they were here against the Giants.
No, sorry,
and
what am I
Mesa
saying?
Against the Cubs, yeah.
They're in Mesa against the Cubs. Who are they against here? I'm blanking. Giants, right. Okay, sorry. How could I get it so mixed up during spring training? Okay, so couple of updates. Number one, Manny Machado back in the lineup here in Peoria, so that is very, very good news. Mike Schilt is going to Mesa. So, Mike Schilt grinding it out, more of the evaluation period. So Mike Schilt will be in Mesa.
Did he ask you to manage the team back here?
No. That would be awesome. Now that would be some great TikTok.
That would be good content, my friend.
I'm all for it. A few other updates for you. Kyle Hart will throw another game on the backfield. So it's still going to be a little bit of time until we see him in a Cactus League game. He did throw 2 simulated innings the other day, but it will be another backfield start for Kyle Hart. And Mike Schilt was asked about that, and essentially, Mike said they just want to get more familiar with him, and it's, I think, a little bit of a slower process. Now, I don't know if that's going to affect his ability to compete for that 5th and final rotation spot, but it will be at least one more start on the backfield for Kyle Hart. Another thing that I think is important to start thinking about, and it's from my conversations today in the clubhouse and also with Mike Schilt just a few minutes ago. I was talking with Sean Reynolds, who still has the walking boot on, that right foot. He's still sort of in rest mode with that stress reaction. They're trying to calm it down and get him to a point where he can then start ramping back up again. But right now he's still in that walking boot. I asked Mike Schilt after I had that conversation, and obviously we've talked about Brian Hoeing and the likelihood that he's not going to be ready on opening day at this point. I asked Mike Schilt about the long man situation in the bullpen on opening day, because I think you look around at maybe the 11, 12 guys that seem like the core guys for the bullpen, and nobody really stands out as a guy who could go multiple innings. So that's something that they're talking about. They're trying to figure out. Now, they do have off days every Thursday for a while after opening day. That may allow them to, maybe tinker with some things and not have a traditional long man in the bullpen. It also depends on what the other 7 guys look like in that bullpen. So that's I think something that I'm starting to think about, if you're not going to have Hoeing, if you're not going to have Reynolds, it obviously for sure opens up a couple of spots, and how the Padres maneuver with those spots, and how they maneuver potentially with or without some sort of long man at the start of the year. And this is kind of a follow-up I'll have over the course of the next couple of weeks, how Stephen Kolek could potentially play in that. If you need somebody who can give you multiple innings at the start of the year and he's not your fifth starter, well, does Stephen Kolek become maybe that guy? Does Stephen Kolek go down to AAA because you want him to start? So I think all those things are pretty good questions as we roll along here.
The makeup of the Padres bullpen is going to be interesting too. And it's obviously a fluid process throughout the season. Guys have options. They get sent down. I mean, you got more than one option, buddy. You kind of know you're on the El Paso train and get those Southwest points, get that Southwest credit card, start racking up those miles, because that's where you're going to be. But as it stands today, you think about it, man, that's two righties that you were counting on out of the bullpen. You've got Morihone, a lefty. You've got Yuki Matsui, a lefty. You've got Wandy Peralta, a lefty in the pen. Pretty good. Like, you feel pretty good about the lefties. You've got Estrada. You've got Suarez, obviously, at the back end, if you end up keeping him. Who else, Sammy, do you look at? Jason Adam. That's right. So 3-3 there. Who else am I missing?
Marinaccio,
another right-hander. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty dirty. Even
or one of the young guys,
or
like
one of the young guys,
Rodriguez,
or one of the young guys. I mean, there are two spots essentially opening day, assuming you don't have Reynolds and Hoeing. Now, I put Hoeing as part of the 7 locks at the start of spring training, so I even viewed Reynolds as battling for that final spot. So you've got Alec Jacob, you've got Ron Marinaccio, you've got couple of other guys, some of the names you mentioned. So it's going to be interesting to see how those final 2 spots work out in the bullpen. And again, I just, without Hoeing, my question is, okay, do you need a long man at the start of the year? If you do want somebody who can go multiple innings at the start of the year, who is that? I mean, heck, if some, Johnny Brito, I think, is somebody we haven't talked about a ton that certainly makes sense for that kind of role. So it's just something to think about as I think the picture becomes a little bit clearer with Hoeing and Reynolds and their status for opening day.
Certainly seems like the Padres have depth at pitching. Now, the second you say that, we've seen it blow up on them. We thought they had plenty of depth in 2021, and it turned out that they didn't. So you can never have too much depth. Sammy, we had an interesting conversation this morning. We kind of looked ahead at the Padres' path to the playoffs in 2025. And I wanted to get your perspective, because Woods and I are trying to be realistic. We both think the division, we're just kind of conceding it to the Dodgers. I know that Manny Machado and Mike Schilt would never say that out loud, but logically the best path is to win a wild card and then try to win a World Series that way. There are a lot of good National League teams, though. You're seeing some of them in spring training, some of them are in Florida, but like the Giants and the Cubs, I'm sure today, those are two teams that both have playoff aspirations as well. Are you getting any sense as to, some of the other, teams and how spring training is going for them out in Arizona this year?
Yeah, I think, I think this time of year, hope, what's the saying? Hope springs eternal. Hope, whatever the saying is. Spring training is very hopeful time of year. So I think you get that sense around every complex. And as you go to some of these different stadiums and talk to people, right, you're always talking about the best version of what can happen. And look, I agree with you. Nobody's going to say it here, and I know they got asked about it quite a bit during that MLB Network show the other day. Nobody is going to say it here or should say it here as far as, conceding the division to the LA Dodgers. I would say this, though, if you're going to pick the Padres to win the division, I think then you're picking them to win above 100 games, right?
Oh,
because I don't see a scenario, and nobody take me down here.
Speaking very quietly because he doesn't want to be overheard now.
Yeah, just whisper it.
Yeah, I mean, I just think you're picking the Dodgers to. I think you're picking the Padres to win 100 games, because I just, how do the Dodgers not win 100 games? I think that would be a disappointment for them based on what they've been for many years and based on what they did in the offseason. So I tend to agree with you that it's about everybody else. If somehow you find yourself in a battle with the Dodgers in September, then awesome. I mean, that's the cherry on top. But making the postseason and battling against the teams, in and outside your division, not named the LA Dodgers, I think should be the focus. But nobody's going to say that here, and they shouldn't. It's March 4th or whatever it is, and your goal, should be the division. I think as as analysts, we can be a little more realistic about it. But, as a player, as coaching staff, I think that should be what they're saying, and they are.
A little breaking news here on 97.3 The Fan with the San Diego Padres. I got this from ESPN just moments ago. The Remus Sports Agency, co-owned by Puerto Rican rapper Bad Bunny, who has been suspended by the Baseball Players Union, announced a management deal today with Padres star Fernando Tatis Jr. So Tatis, Bad Bunny.
Read that one more time.
Remus Sports, the agency co-owned by Puerto Rican rapper Bad Bunny, whose leaders have been suspended by Baseball's Players Union, announced a management deal Tuesday with San Diego Padres star Fernando Tatis Jr.
That second part seems significant.
Yes.
Remus says it will oversee marketing, brand relations, and other services, working to expand his portfolio as an athlete, businessman, and philanthropist.
I like how you said that, businessman.
Businessman.
Not a businessman.
A businessman.
And
So
MVP for baseball stuff, and this is like his brand outside of
I guess.
baseball?
I mean, he has a 14-year contract. Dan Lozano has no more contracts really
Fair
to
enough.
negotiate for Fernando Tatis Jr. So he's going. I don't know if that's something he's going to talk about at all, but this is definitely big news in the baseball circles, and he's kind of charting his own path here.
Now, who did they have? Weren't they trying to represent some players, and then they got
and
suspended?
they were told they couldn't because they didn't meet the qualifications or whatever it was.
Wow.
Interesting news, Sammy.
Yeah, I'm not totally familiar with Remas and the story, but kind of makes sense to me. I mean, that Fernando would want somebody associated with Bad Bunny, who is a superstar, to manage, some of maybe the stuff outside of baseball contracts. So it makes sense to me. I don't know what to make of the suspension from the union or however they put it, but makes sense to me that would be a good fit for Fernando in a marketing and an outside of baseball sense.
The company says it already represents Ronald Acuna Jr., Ezequiel Tovar of the Rockies, and Francisco Alvarez of the Mets.
All right.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
that's a big star they just landed today.
Yeah, I think I don't know how much like big baseball news it is as far as the Padres, but I get it. I mean, I think for Fernando, is probably big news to be associated with them, and he's an absolute superstar around the world.
Do you think Remas has any interest in marketing Ben and Woods
radio show
and how we could do
jumping in
with them?
They've actually been banned by radio stations across the country.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, they might. You know what? I mean, I might want to do my own investigating.
That's not a bad idea, Sammy. Get that brand growing. I'm actually trying to lessen our brand at this point. My wife just texted me and told me I'm about to be asked to MC the nighttime fundraiser at my kids' elementary school. So I'm actually trying to get my brand down a little bit.
Could it possibly be on the same night that we're hosting the roast?
Potentially.
Bad Bunny would never have let that happen.
Exactly. Got to talk to my people, man.
By the way, the new Bad Bunny album, I've not listened to a ton of Bad Bunny before, but excellent.
Okay.
All right.
Absolutely excellent. New Bad Bunny album.
Listened to a little bit of it. I was like, I don't know a lot of the words, but I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. It's good.
That first song, Paulie,
Yeah.
Nueva Yol. Ooh. Love it.
I love it. I love it.
I will say one little aside here, something I learned today or found out. Did you know Matt Adams is the bench coach for the El Paso Chihuahuas? So I'm walking around the complex.
I think I remember.
Former Cardinal?
Yeah.
Former Cardinal.
I think I remember hearing that.
I had a really good chat today with Romeo Sanabria, who is a prospect, and his locker is right between Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. at spring training, playing a lot of first base, getting into some of these games. Really good conversation. I'll get some of it, on social media and whatnot. But he talked a lot about Matt Adams here at this camp, working with him at first base and all the help that Matt Adams. So it sparked my mind. I was like, Matt Adams, and then I knew I saw somebody the last couple of days that I recognized. I couldn't put a finger on who it was, and I was like, oh, that was Matt Adams. Just random aside.
Old Schulte bringing his guys in now. I love it.
Great point of the Padres organization.
Yeah, I love it. Cardinals, Rangers, and Padres, baby. We are all aligned together. Thank you, Sammy.
Sammy, good work as always. Enjoy whatever. So you're going to stay, I assume, in Peoria. You're not going to Make the trip to
Yeah.
Mesa today. All right.
Yeah,
Well-
I'm not a grinder like Mike Schilt.
Yeah, exactly.
Stay in
We'll-
cozy
we'll-
Peoria.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you, Sammy.
All right, see you guys.
Sam Levitt, spring training Sammy on the scene for us in Peoria, Arizona.
Got a lineup here against the Giants, Benny, if you'd like to hear it.
This is the one that Mike Schilt will not be managing.
Correct.
In Peoria.
This is so yeah, it's against the Giants, 12-10 start today.
I'd assume that like Manny would be in this lineup, and they're not going to make him go to Mesa.
Well,
So,
if you zip your lip, I'll just read it to you,
Go
and then
ahead.
you can make your own.
I like to guess things first.
All right. Leading off,
I'm
playing,
guessing probably Arise, maybe.
leading off playing first base, the one, the
Oh,
only,
look at
Luis
that.
Arise.
Good job, Paulie.
Designated hitter today is Fernando Tatis Jr. Jackson Merrill back in the 3-hole center field. That's feeling like a comfortable hole for Jackson Merrill, the 3. Manny Machado in the cleanup spot, playing third base. Jake Cronenworth batting 5th, playing 2nd. Xander Bogaerts at short. Jason Hayward in left. Tirso Ornelas in right field. Martin Maldonado behind the dish for one Nick Pivetta.
All right, 1 through 8. That could be your opening day lineup.
Correct.
Very, very easily. If it's against a right-hander, at least. Lefty, righty, lefty, righty.
Who's going to be their opener?
Lefty,
Sale?
righty, lefty, righty. Right?
Are they going to go Sale opening day? The Braves?
I don't know. I would think, yeah.
Cy Young,
Cy
yeah,
Young Award.
right?
Yeah, probably going to go with Cy.
Yeah.
But a theoretical, at least, opening day looking lineup. And so who's pitching, you said?
Nick Pivetta.
Nick Pivetta is going to stay, so that means Matt Waldron is going to be the
He's
one
on the
who
bus,
pitches on the bus with Mike Schilt, though.
Yep, with
Can't feel
Schilt.
bad if Schilte's going with
100%. 100%.
I wonder why Mike Schilt. I wonder if
I
he
think
wants
it's
to see Matt Waldron
it's
up close
pretty-
more because that's the competition.
I think it's pretty obvious when I'm sure Schilte will wants to see Nick Pivetta and all that, but Nick Pivetta is pretty much set in stone.
Yeah.
So I think when you
So are pretty much every guy in the line.
That-
Yeah,
that's what I was
Jason
gonna say,
Hayward, there's
like-
a couple of still obviously questions, but
but he's got a 16-year track record. You know what I mean?
he knows what he's
what
got
to
with
get.
pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
All the way through Martin Maldonado. There's no surprises in the Peoria lineup.
other than maybe Tirso, but he's seen what he's seen
Yeah.
at camp. But yeah, this is the one. He's actually probably doing some more evaluations out in Mason.
Yeah, but Anthony, that's a good point. Tirso with the big dogs today.
100%,
getting
dude.
to stay. That
I like that.
It doesn't decide anything, but it means something.
Yes.
It means something. You can't just assume he's making the team, but it definitely gives you a sense that the Padres are strongly considering Tirso for a role with this team.
Yep.
So far, and they should, based on what he's done so far in spring training. He has earned a closer look in these games with the A squad in Peoria.
I feel like every lineup that you see him in like this with the big dogs, I mean, bro, that's an opportunity. Like, go out there and eat.
Yeah, 100%. This is, they're watching right now, dude. So that's great. That's great for him. This Jackson Merrill to the 3 seems to be happening.
I wonder if Bad Bunny will be at the game.
Maybe today.
Get the deal signed,
Yeah.
get some FaceTime with your new client, take some pictures, put them on social media, do a little singing,
Yeah,
dancing.
100%.
I wonder if Tatis will be in one of his videos. Someone pointed out Tatis
He
is
did.
a song lyric.
He name
right?
dropped him. Yeah.
in a
I
Bad
remember
Bunny
that.
song already.
We played it on the air and then we got made fun of.
Was that?
I think there was a bad
that
word in there.
recruiting, like early recruiting tactic by Bad Bunny. Final hour, Ben and Woods on a Tuesday.
What kind
Definitely.
of what kind of sex pervert emails are you getting over there from your algorithm? Another one. He got another
It's
one.
not my algorithm this time. This is actually my colleague, my coworker.
Oh,
they know who to send them to.
Oh, they know exactly who to send it to.
Jermaine. Jermaine's a tier 1.
He said, "Hey, sex lord, here comes another email your way."
He just said, feels like this could possibly make for a nice discussion on your show. And the topic is new survey uncovers what turns Californians on and off in the bedroom. What kind of show do you think this is, Jermaine?
He knows.
We're San Diego's #1 sports station.
Yeah, we barely talk sports. You know that.
We can get to it if you want. First, I have to
are you
announce
kidding?
More than
today's
anything.
biggest fan of the day. While we have, sex chat, we can wait for today's fan to call in. If you hear your name called, you'll have 10 minutes to call us back at 833-288-0973. Qualify for our grand prize. 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey suite at a Padres game later this season. You can register your name not too late at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan. But right now, today's biggest fan is Daniel Garcia from Oceanside. Daniel, up in Oceanside. You can call us now, 833-288-0973. Try to qualify for that grand prize. Well, what do you want to know?
I want to know what turns me on. Am I Californian?
All right, so let's we got to get to the
my God,
the procedures of the survey. The Sex Tech pioneers at The Handy have surveyed over 2,000 people to reveal the biggest bedroom turn-ons and turn-offs.
God, man.
For people in California. Can we just wait on the sound effects just until we get to some of the turn-ons and turn-offs? You want to start with the turn-ons or turn-offs?
Yeah, turn on.
All right, top 5 turn-ons. Number 5. Number 6. Having candles on.
Like it.
During.
It's a turn on.
That's a turn on for people. Number 5.
How about you? Do you like candles?
Everyone likes candles.
Everybody likes candles. Who doesn't like a candle-lit room?
Good smelling candles?
Mhm.
That's not what candles sound like.
Do you ever smell any bad candles?
I mean, there's a couple that aren't great. I mean, you can make candles smell like pretty much anything
That's true.
nowadays. All right, number 5, short foreplay. I don't see anything about long foreplay, but short.
That's a turn on?
That's a turn on.
Just get right to it.
I mean, I as opposed to no foreplay, I guess short is better.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
Mrs. Woods co-signs. Go ahead.
Number 4, having romantic, sexy music on.
No.
No.
No longer can.
Really?
Used to be able to. Now all I focus on
Is
is
the
the
music?
music, and it takes me out of my game. So no,
Number 3,
I'll pass on it.
saying I love you
Oh, I like that.
during.
I like that.
You do.
I'm a big fan.
You love that?
Oh yeah, big fan. I think that's
What was the
Love
last
you.
one?
that's a turn on.
What was it?
Not like
Number
that.
3, say,
How did you do it?
say,
Love you,
buddy.
love you,
Love you, buddy.
love you, buddy.
Number 2,
Call,
being
call your partner buddy and let me know how that works for you.
While you're being intimate.
being very confident. Number 2.
Oh yeah, love confidence.
You don't want to
Always.
border on the arrogance, though.
No, in that situation, you do.
You do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think you let your arrogant dog out a little bit. Right?
And number 1, and again, I assume there's a mix of men and women in this survey. Cuddling.
No.
Number 1.
Mm-mm. Nope.
No.
No, neither of us. Oh my God.
All right, let's go to the top 6
Turn offs.
Turn offs. Number 6.
Fart.
When the other person leaves soon after. Don't just get up and go. It's not. Let's see. Number 5.
Never really minded that.
Being selfish is number 5.
Nope. Never really minded that either.
Then
Be
the other
selfish.
person is being selfish. You don't mind.
I like it. How
Number
does that look?
I'm trying to figure that out. But
I'll just sit
anything that's
here
running
while
through my
you
mind, I'm
do
like,
everything.
that wouldn't bother me. No, that wouldn't bother me either.
I mean, there's a certain amount of effort that's required on both
That's
persons'
true,
part, and
but
if one
that's
person is not
being
putting in the
lazy is
effort,
not the same as being selfish.
It is a way to. You can be selfish by being lazy.
That's true. 100%. I do not like lazy.
right.
Okay, continue.
Number 4. This is an interesting one. Comparison to previous partners.
In the middle of it?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I would say
No.
that's a huge turnoff.
Well, I guess it depends if it's a favorable or unfavorable comparison.
You're so much better than Bill. Thank you. Maybe you wait till after to tell me. Or you're not as good
I was gonna say not
as Bill was.
Do my top 10 list right in the middle.
Right in the middle of it.
You're like number
Maki,
7.
Ricky, Danny, Terry, Timmy, Tommy, Davey, Joey, Robbie, and Brian.
Maki, Ricky, Danny, Terry, Mikey, Davey, Timmy, Tommy, Joey, Robbie, Johnny, and Brian.
Well, Brian.
Hey, who are your favorites before me? Who are hey, babe, who's the best you ever had? In order, please.
Maki, Ricky, Danny, Terry, Mikey, Davey, Timmy, Tommy, Joey, Robbie, Johnny, and Brian.
And Ben.
Oh my God, I'm so stiff.
I like to picture Adam's hair falling out at his desk right now.
He's losing
It's
his
my
mind.
favorite part.
Number 3, lack of communication.
Yeah,
That's a
this
is
turnoff.
appropriate, I think, in other aspects as well.
Yeah.
Good communication's always important.
Absolutely.
Number 2, turn off. Using your phone, checking notifications.
Yes.
I would say so. Are you not into this right now?
Oh, okay.
I guess the crazy thing is that's 72% say they dislike that. So I guess 28%, yeah, just go ahead.
Wait, what was that TikTok?
If you've ever checked your phone in the middle of it, you're a monster. You got it. There's an old saying: "Fake it till you make it." Right? Zach, you do not check your email in the middle of it. You don't. Zach says, "I always check my email." The BS.
Liar.
There's no way. Your wife is doing her thing, and you're like, see what time my fantasy draft is.
Adam is making sure that I saw this email.
Yeah. Could be breaking news. Jeff Passanoti pops up.
And I think number 1, biggest turnoff, and this I think applies for everyone pretty much equally, poor personal hygiene.
Bro, number 1.
Yeah.
Across the board.
You know, I've noticed that there is a lot more advertising for full body deodorants now.
Yeah. And I saw
Maybe you could do one of those ads now that
Oh, yeah,
you're
I
a
could.
TV pitch man.
I saw one the other day. I'm not joking when I say this. It was on Instagram, and I was scrolling through. You scroll through pictures, and then it pops up an ad. And I'm not joking when I say this. It was a guy holding an eggplant, and he had a razor, and he was shaving the eggplant. And the advertisement was this: everyone should shave their taint. I'm not joking. It's actually an ad that I saw on Instagram. So
It's hard to dance around the subject.
it is
pretty direct now with the
Yeah,
advertising.
they really are. I mean, I think direct sells. So that's a great topic. I like that.
Thank Jermaine.
Thank you,
I certainly
Jermaine.
wasn't going to bring it up, but
Weren't you?
Jermaine sent it to me, so threw it out there. I would rather talk about the ads.
I know you do. I know you would.
They have a game tonight.
They do?
You know they do. It's a late start, which I know is not your favorite.
What time?
8 p.m. in Las Vegas, UNLV. This is a revenge game for San Diego State. Not that really means anything, but of course, UNLV handed them one of their, 3 losses at home this year? Gonzaga, Utah State, and UNLV. That was the surprising one. It's the only quad 3 loss on their resume. If you don't, how they kind of divide the metrics in college basketball. Your toughest games, like home games against top 30 teams and road games against top 70, 75 teams, are quad 1. And then they kind of go down from there. And the Aztecs usually last couple of years have been undefeated in all their quad 3 and quad 4 games, except the home loss to UNLV is their only quad 3 loss in the last 2 seasons. So essentially their worst loss in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And they're trying to avenge it on the road at the Thomas and Mack Center. It's like the road venue that the Aztecs have had more success. I think more success than any road team in the history of any venue. Because
Is that right?
Not only do they dominate UNLV there, they dominate the Mountain West tournament there.
Yeah.
It's like Viejas, Nevada, essentially, how well they have played in that building over the last 15 years. They're 16-2 or something against UNLV. It's embarrassing for UNLV, honestly, and they're probably pretty mad about it. So, they know they can beat this team. So they're going to have the confidence going in that they've done it before. And I think that makes this game dangerous for the Aztecs. You're going to have a confident opponent, but I also think you're going to have a motivated Aztecs team, because if they win this one, they're pretty much almost assured of an NCAA tournament bid. I mean, if they win both of the games this week and win at home against Nevada on Saturday, both of them, I think the at-large bid is pretty much locked up. They'll be kind of in the 8-9 category, and most seed lines won't matter what happens in the Mountain West tournament if they get these last 2 wins. So essentially, you're playing to guarantee yourself a spot in the NCAA tournament. I mean, what more motivation do you need if you're a college basketball team?
Line is 2.5. Aztecs favored by 2.5 on the road tonight. So yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good about that actually. What's UNLV done this year outside of
they're 16-13 overall. They are, I think, 10-8 in the Mountain West. So they're in 6th place right now. The Aztecs are tied for 4th. The irony here is if they win and the Aztecs move up to 3rd, they'll likely play UNLV in the first round, the quarterfinals, the 6-3 game of the Mountain West tournament, which means another road game because, of course, UNLV gets to host the thing every darn year. So you probably will be going back-to-back weeks to play the same team in the same venue.
Why don't they move that around? Did they not do that
they
for
used to.
conference turn? Do they do it for other conferences?
No one showed up to any of the other venues. So, and in Las Vegas, they've talked about moving it to one of the other arenas in Las Vegas. But they get, I think, a really
hotel space out there.
They get a really good deal from UNLV being as part of the conference. So it's like, if you want to make any money and you fill the building pretty well, they've just decided. And the fact that UNLV has not, they don't ever win it.
They don't win it.
You don't feel like, oh, you've given them such an unfair advantage. Well, if you did, you think it once in a while they might beat SDSU or another team, but they never do. So it kind of ends up being not the biggest issue
if
for
they had
having
it
the tournament.
Laramie, Wyoming, teams would be like, we'll just take our chances at an at-large.
We're
good. No thanks.
I love it.
I saw also Nevada and New Mexico play tonight in the Mountain West. That's a pick'em. Which
interesting. So that must be at Nevada.
At Nevada.
New Mexico still has the lead and the tiebreakers.
It could get real interesting.
But San Diego State could theoretically finish tied for first. If New Mexico lost their last 2 and the Aztecs won their last 2, Aztecs could at least finish tied for first. I think they'd still get the 2nd seed. New Mexico has the tiebreaker because of their win over Utah State. But the Aztecs they'd hang a banner if that happened.
Yeah, no doubt.
But probably that's not going to happen because I assume New Mexico is going to win one of these 2 games. They play the same teams as the Aztecs, just in reverse order. They go Nevada, UNLV. So that's tonight, 8:00, Aztecs, UNLV, and we can break it down tomorrow morning.
Big Chop in the chat says, I'm surprised SDSU basketball was on the list for Ben.
Oh, turn-ons. Oh, yeah.
It's a big turn-on.
Oh, during the game?
God.
Now, you would be on your phone watching
Checking
the game.
score.
No, tweeting. Live tweeting. Ooh. It's like when George Costanza, he liked food and he liked that, and so he liked to put them together.
Yeah,
but it was a weird combo of food. He had like pastrami sandwiches and stuff in bed, which is that's not great.
Can't do that.
That's not great at all. We've had the Padres game on before.
Oh yeah,
I might have peeked off.
Really?
Yeah, peeked off to the side.
Distracted.
Yeah,
let's turn off.
100%.
All right, we still have the Rindle Report coming up. Paulie's got some headlines ahead and traffic with Kelly. First, though,
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466.
7 Mile Casino time with Ben and Woods. I enjoy our minute or so every day that we get to talk about 7 Mile Casino. You talked about truth in advertising earlier.
Yeah, buddy.
And we both believe in 7 Mile Casino. We think it's a great spot to play cards. We're not just saying that, and it's not just because it's so close, because it's upscale. It's fun. It is you feel good when you go in there. It's just like a little vacation for a card player, just so close to home.
Yeah, it's a mini vacation. You don't have to drive or fly way off to do, and you can play it. Sit down, play California style blackjack, which is my favorite game. You can have some delicious lunch or dinner or breakfast. They got it all at 7 Mile Casino, smoke free environment as well. But obviously, the part we like to hammer home, it's just 7 minutes from downtown.
It is. Check out the patio when the weather's good, and it looks like it's pretty nice today. Go out. It's right on San Diego Bay. It's a great spot for friends. And on weekends, enjoy the Saturday and Sunday brunch, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Best brunch in the South County at Sammy's at 7 Mile. And of course, that 24/7 players menu is fantastic. Check it out today, everybody, at 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown. Nagy and Perloff on the way in, like I usually
I'm shocked.
Adam Yule says, shocker. Shocker. This is even going to shock you more. Guess what they were talking about?
Hang on.
It's
the Dallas Cowboys.
It's March. They were talking about
Deebo Samuel.
NFL Combine,
the
obviously.
Combine. Yeah, Combine.
Shador Sanders.
Shador and the Combine. And I just like, I just don't see it. I just can't. I can't get involved so much in the offseason news. I mean, there were some offseason NFL stories yesterday.
Hey, Perloff, did you see that guy's 40 time yesterday?
Like the Vikings are not expected to franchise tag Sam Darnold.
Okay.
Which I think is, I mean, that would cost them over $40 million.
I'd say that's probably a good
to pay Sam Darnold. They would like to bring him back, but not for $40 million. T. Higgins got the franchise tag for the second straight year from the Bengals. That's $26.2 million. And Matthew Stafford, did you see, agreed to an adjusted deal to stay with the Rams. Now, they had given him permission to start looking around for other suitors. I'm guessing that his agent didn't find a lot of other suitors at his contract price.
Yeah.
And he went back to the Rams and went, all right, let's work things out.
All right. There's your NFL news and notes with one Ben Perloff.
And no, wait, I got one more news and note, because
one more
Paulie's
note.
had it on the rundown for the last 2 days, and I did want to talk about it. So last week while we were at spring training, the NFL announced that they are looking into next season, replacing or augmenting at least the chain gang with their Hawkeye system to determine first downs.
Oh, good. It's about time.
The chain gang will be back, like they'll be on the field as backups, but
it's not what we thought it was going to be. Like everyone was saying, like just put a chip in the football or something.
No, it's not that. But let's say you spot it's very obvious. Like when it's a touchback and they spot the ball at the 25-yard line, you don't need a chain gang to know if they get to the 35. But then when you get that first down and the ball's at the 36 and a quarter, this will keep track of that. Like, okay, well, did we get to the 46 and a quarter or not? And it'll know exactly what the 10 yards is when it's spotted. Oh yeah, he got that by an inch, or he didn't get that by an inch. You won't have to stop down the game for three old dudes to run out and, spot the chain and pull it. And, there's got to be, how many times have they miscalculated, human error on that chain?
A lot.
Coming out. I mean, it's
like almost every game. You're like, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that spot. I don't know about that
the
measurement.
Spotting's hard enough, but the measurement, that part should be really easy based on the technology at this point. That's what the Hawkeye system does. I don't know that they'll ever have a foolproof way to determine
where the ball is,
where the ball should be spotted.
Yeah.
That is always going to be a question. You could put 1 million microchips in the ball, and it still doesn't necessarily tell you. You could probably, with advanced enough technology, figure out how far the ball got onto the field. But was that when the whistle blew? Did the running back pull it back himself at that point, or was he pushed back by the defense? When did the whistle blow? I mean, there's
forward momentum.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go into the spotting of a football, and not just how far did the ball make it on any given play.
That's true.
So I don't know that there's any technology that will ever truly accomplish the goal of figuring out where a ball should be spotted.
That's fair. But more technology, I think, is a good thing to get accuracy in games.
Real quickly, technology in sports. Did you guys see? We didn't talk about it. The clip, I think it was on Sunday in spring training. Max Scherzer on the mound.
Scherzer and Trey Turner.
Max Scherzer on the Blue Jays, which is still kind of weird.
Yeah, a little odd
to see. And Trey Turner is at the dish. And he steps up, and they're buddies. They're former teammates. Scherzer lays one pretty much right down the middle. And Trey Turner steps back, taps the helmet, and has the biggest S-eating grin on his face because he knows that Scherzer, everybody knows, he's a psychopath on the mound.
Well, and he hates ABS. He hates that. He was like, we need humans in there, right?
This wasn't close.
Bro, it was.
Trey Turner calls for the challenge, steps out of the box. They showed it on the replay. It was right down the
pipe, dude. So good. And Scherzer's laughing and Trey Turner's laughing.
Like,
it was they used to, they want to ring together in Washington. They know each other. Turner's smile was great, dude. I really like that guy.
I love that.
I've come around on Trey Turner a lot, man, since he went to Philly. But yeah, it was a funny bit.
You love bits.
I do love bits.
Now, I don't think MLB wants the ABS system to turn into one running bit.
Well, neither do the managers. If you're Rob Thompson, you're like, all right, this is the time to do them in spring training. If you're going to do a bit on Max Scherzer, I'm sure he goes, hey, watch this. 2 veterans. It was fun. It was fun.
You want to see Max Scherzer lose his mind?
Yeah, you guys want to
this.
watch Max Scherzer flip out there? It was really good.
It definitely feels like the pitchers have been more anti than the batters.
Yeah.
Is that been your guys' sense as well? I mean, Joe Musgrove was kind of
I've seen
iffy on it. I mean,
I've seen every pitcher thinks every pitch is a strike or nicks the zone.
Yu Darvish was iffy on. Well, I mean, you'd think then wouldn't they want the ability to get those balls turned into strikes? But for the most part, feels like the pitchers are against, and the batters have been more enthusiastic. In wanting the ABS, which tells me that the pitchers probably deep down know that they've been getting the benefit of umpires' calls for a while. And I think that's very true. I think the human nature as an umpire, when it's close, is you want to call it a strike.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, keep the game moving. It's good for baseball. You know, they want a fast-paced game.
Yep.
If the umpire ever has like a 50-50, like that truly felt like it was right over the edge. If I'm an umpire, I'm probably calling a strike.
Yeah.
Which is good for pitchers. Now on that, that pitch, if you've got your challenges and it's late in the game, you're going to have, if they implement it in 2026, you're going to have players now can challenge that, find out, no, it actually was a ball. The umpires have been giving you that extra quarter of an inch off the edge of the zone for years, and you're no longer going to get it in every situation.
Yeah,
as it currently stands, though, the way we've seen it these first couple of weeks of spring training, I mean, it doesn't take a lot of time. I like how they've limited it. You only get a couple.
Yep.
I guess if you win every challenge, you can keep going.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take a ton. It's not like an NBA review. Sometimes it takes like 4 minutes.
Yeah,
they're looking at all the different angles, and it's still human aspect. Is all right. This is the video evidence, but what do we really think here? This is pretty cut and dry. It takes 10 seconds?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, the NBA end games now, when you can challenge and review in the last 2 minutes, balls out of bounds. I was watching the Lakers game on Saturday. There was a challenge on Sunday on LeBron. Like, was it a goaltend or was it a block shot? And just stop it down for like 5 minutes.
I've noticed in college and NBA, it's every foul now gets reviewed. Is this a flagrant 1 or a flagrant 2 or just a normal? I'm like, it looks pretty normal to me.
Don't talk to me until you've done PA at a Seals game and the reviews take like 40 minutes. Hey, Woodsy, vamp with the crowd. I'm like, absolutely not. We'll just sit and wait. You can play the Jeopardy music, but I'm not vamping with you. Hey, you guys having fun out there? As we wait for the referees to look at this really shoddy camera.
Attention, Pechanga Arena. Now would be a really good time to go to the concourse and get yourself some popcorn or a hot dog.
Just so you know, if you've never been to a Seals game and you do go and they do review something, you have time to go pee and get back. You won't miss a thing. It takes a while.
All right, Paulie's got some Rival Report headlines for us in our final segment, including a little more off the field NFL news involving a longtime coach and broadcaster, and some more Aztecs news as well. So we will get to all of that coming up in our final segment. First, though, Prize Picks is your place for daily fantasy sports action, and basketball season is a great season for Prize Picks, whether it's pro or college. March is a phenomenal month for basketball viewing. 10 million members are setting lineups every day and have already been awarded billions of dollars in winnings. All you have to do is set lineups between 2 and 6 players. You're picking more or less on stat projections, like more or less than 14.5 points or more or less than 7.5 rebounds. Put those together. The more you put together, the more you can win. You can win up to 1,000 times your cash. And you're going to find all the big stars in there. LeBron, Luka, Ant, if you're doing pro basketball, Cooper Flag, if you're doing college basketball. You'll see all of them there this month of March as you're watching games and winning real money. When you sign up, download the app at prizepicks.com. Use the code KWFN. When you sign up, you're going to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's a ton of play right there simply by using the code KWFN. When you play your first $5 lineup, get your $50 instantly at Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details. This segment of Ben and Woods is brought to you by Popeyes. Let Popeyes do the fishing while you enjoy their delicious seafood. Come in today for Popeyes Shrimp Tackle Box or their Flounder Fish Sandwich in classic or spicy. Get them before they're gone for a limited time at participating U.S. restaurants.
Why are you looking at me weirdly when you read that?
I wasn't looking at you weirdly.
Yes, you
I
were.
was looking to see your reaction
I
to it.
didn't even say
It is definitely a thing that you'll see probably more advertisements for
Flounder?
fish over the next, 6 weeks than
Lent.
any other time during the year because it is Lent coming up here. And is today Mardi Gras and then tomorrow Lent starts? Is
Today
that
Mardi Gras?
Today's Fat Tuesday.
Is today?
We just call it Tuesday.
Or was it last week? Did I miss
don't know.
it? I don't know. But I
I'm
know we're in
guessing.
the season where Lent
It
is
says
upon
today,
us.
6
Yes,
a.m.
Today's Fat
Today
Tuesday.
is Mardi Gras,
Mardi
which
Gras.
Mardi
means
Gras.
tomorrow is the beginning of Lent. It's just the time of year that people who observe you give up something. Oftentimes it's meat. So in place of that, they eat a lot of fish, which is why you see like fish sandwiches on the menus of fast food restaurants.
What are you giving up this year?
For Lent?
Yes.
I don't observe Lent.
Okay, but if you did,
Ooh,
sandwiches.
stroganoff.
It's very fattening.
No.
You can't eat stroganoff every day.
That reminds me. Someone sent me a. Let's see if I can find it here. Oh yeah,
Curious where you're going with this.
Danielle says, I feel like Ben Higgins would find this funny. She said, apparently you can't use beef stew as a password. It's not stroganoff.
Stop down the show for that.
I laughed.
Lent is meant to give up something difficult. Ben should give up golf. No chance.
Maggie and Perloff.
Give up Maggie and
I
Perloff.
could
for
probably.
Lent. How long does it have to be?
It's 6 weeks, isn't it?
6 weeks. Could you do it?
I could give up Maggie and Perloff, but does that make it too easy?
That's too easy. How much do you really love it?
I mean, I don't really, really love it. It's just kind of on the car as I'm driving, but I could do without it.
Trying to think what the hardest thing would be for me to give up. People are like, you have to challenge yourself.
I know people, they give up their phones or like social media. Or
See, now somebody just said giving up Instagram for Lent is weak. I don't agree. I think that's strong.
I've been addicted now I've Peloton for 254 weeks straight. Did I give up the Peloton for Lent? That feels counterproductive. Like you don't want to give up something that's good for you, right?
This is such a humble brag. Dan says, give up Zen. No, absolutely not.
I'm not going to. So quit asking.
No. All right. If I give up Zen, I'll go back to Copenhagen.
If something is if something you feel like is so bad for you, you
Is
should
that-
give it up permanently and not just
Right,
for 6
but
weeks.
what is the
And
point of
if it's not bad for you, it's not hurting you and it's helping you, you shouldn't give it up at all. Which is why I think the whole concept of Lent is not. I don't really get it entirely.
I don't either.
Like if it's bad, don't do it at all. And if it's fine and it's good, why stop doing it?
James says you can also start something new that would help you. Is that true? I didn't know
No,
that. I thought
I
it was
didn't know
about
that.
all about
I thought it
sacrifice.
was about giving things up.
All right.
Like any most things are okay in moderation. Like you can give up meat, but meat is not inherently a bad thing for you. Yeah, should you be having, cheeseburgers every meal? Of course not. But it doesn't mean you should never have some meat. It's actually can be healthy for you to do
That's
that.
a good, pretty standard one.
Yeah, it's doing things in moderation is the important thing, not just giving them up for 6 weeks and then going right back to whatever habits you had before.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like I like Mexican food.
Ooh.
That would be tough to give up for 6 weeks. It's
But
not
you could do
particularly good for me either.
Right.
So I guess that could be something I could try to do.
Paulie, what would you give up?
I don't know. I'm with Ben. I've never observed it. I don't know.
I don't really like to challenge myself very much, so
It's not true.
Jeff says
Soda, give up soda or something.
See, I like that. I've pretty much given up soda already. It wasn't easy, but I'm not going to start now just so I can give it up again for Lent.
I'm not going to give up coffee.
No.
We've really stumped ourselves.
I have really
Wasn't expecting
really
that.
stumped myself.
That was all just from reading a little Popeyes liner.
Yeah. Thank you, Popeyes, for spawning that conversation.
Making us really think this morning.
Give up the Lakers, Ben.
How do you give up a team?
You just don't pay attention.
This is the important part of the season, though.
Yeah, it is. That would be tough.
I guess it's not the playoffs, but this is pretty critical.
Yeah. That would be tough.
All right. Well, we're not going to give up the Rondell report.
We're not
that's
giving
for
up
sure.
anything.
It's going to come up right after our last check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Hamul Casino. Got a few things wrapping up our morning drive. Somebody spilled a bunch of nails on the Lemon Avenue on-ramp to southbound 125. So watch out for some confusion there. Also traveling on southbound 805 before Palm Avenue. We have reports of a mattress in middle lanes. Northbound side of the 805 before Orange Avenue. There's a collision involving a couple vehicles. Looks like that is mostly over to the right shoulder. Eastbound King Freeway, an accident near Euclid. Those vehicles are over to the right shoulder. And on the coastline, southbound side of the 5, right around Palomar Airport Road. A collision involving a couple cars. They're over to the right shoulder. Hey, players, things are about to get real here in San Diego with the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. Gorgeous boutique rooms and suites, exciting new eats and drinks, and a rooftop pool. It gets real this summer at Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Rondell Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah?
All right.
All right.
Did you hear what Kelly said? There's nails all over the freeway.
Nails.
Like a box of nails or
I think it
something?
was. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
Lemon
Nails.
Avenue, the on-ramp. Yeah, that sounds awful.
Do not give up Ben and Woods for Lent, you sons of bitches. Do not do it.
My mom said you never went to Sunday school. I think she's regretting that, but it's giving up something you enjoy to remember Jesus' sacrifice going into the desert without food or water for 40 days before Easter.
I thought
So
he
it's a
did it so
sacrifice.
I don't have to.
That's a
That's
good
the whole
point,
bit,
too.
I thought. I thought that was the whole premise.
Sounds good to me.
He sacrificed so I don't have to do it.
We're not the holiest of shows. I will.
We're
admit
not.
That.
The nails on the freeway is what's doming
I will
me
give
out.
up nails on the freeway. That's
Yeah.
definitely something happening.
Carlos says, what if it was fingernails? Disgusting. Go ahead, Paulie.
Jeff says, what if Paul gave up using drops
Never.
on Ben and Woods for
Then
Lent?
Paulie
We do
loses
enjoy
his
that.
job. Yeah,
Right.
Paulie will lose his job.
Can't do that. All right, let's start a little college hoops. I thought this was really cool.
Don't forget your sponsor.
Oh, thank you very much for that, Ben. Before we get to the college hoops, I would like to remind everyone that the Rindle Report is brought to you by the Craft Taco. Whether you're craving tacos for lunch or a craft beer for happy hour, the Craft Taco is the answer. Now open in Balboa Park and Sereno Valley. Get yours today.
Yeah, I'm definitely not giving up Mexican food because I
No.
don't want to have to listen to that every morning
Right.
and not be able to have tacos.
100%.
All right, I saw the Mesa Foundation for San Diego State is doing something pretty cool in the month of March. Everyone's got their eyes on the upcoming tournaments and all of that, but we've talked about it in the past recently, how this team is pretty good this year. Yep. This team has the potential to be great next year.
Indeed.
Should they keep everyone together.
You let
And
yourself dream on the future of next year, man.
we talked about it last week when Miles Bird said, if I come back to college, I'm coming to San Diego State.
Yep.
I will only play for San Diego State, but
Reese Waters, I'm
wants
in.
to explore the draft and the pre-draft workouts and all that. You got guys like Magoon Gwath, there's so much talent. Can you keep them here? And so the Mesa Foundation said, Mesa is the foundation to our success and competitive edge in the ever-changing landscape of NIL. We need your help to keep this team together. Please consider helping us reload our roster by making a gift today Every dollar will be matched by a generous donation up to $500,000. Now is the time. Double your impact and help bring back a team that very well could be the most talented group of players we have ever had competing on Steve Fisher Court.
All right, so Ben, you give $500 today, $1,000. It's matched.
Right.
Okay. So how much are you planning to donate? Now you derive a lot of pleasure from the San Diego State Aztecs. The Aztecs. Some may say you take a lot from the program. Do you also give back?
I do. I give back in exposure.
Yeah. Well, everybody
promotion,
does that.
like we're talking about this story. That's a valuable thing.
How much would you put a dollar amount on it?
It could be incalculable, really.
Really?
Yeah.
So they should hit that 500,000 easy.
I think so.
We're currently at just over $40,000 of their $500,000 goal. When you go to the Mason Foundation's website and go to the giving page, there's a letter from Brian Dutcher. He says, Aztec fans, our team is more than just a group of student athletes. We're a family. Right now, we need your help to keep this team together. Whether you're a casual fan or a diehard supporter, you can see this may very well be the most talented team we've ever had playing on Steve Fisher Court. I ask you to support.
I'm sold. I think, and I don't even derive the amount of pleasure.
Can we all agree that we shouldn't have to do this to keep?
Yes, but it's necessary
to keep our college basketball team together.
This is where we're at.
I know this is where we're at. It feels wrong.
So right to
hat
give.
in hand,
it's always good to give.
If you want a good college basketball team,
got to pay for it.
Put some money into the kitty. Here we go. This is how we do it now.
Yeah.
Go fund me your college basketball team.
Yeah, feels good.
The matching bid's
works
always good too.
Same in other sports.
Matching bid is
sports.
great.
Like the donor could have just donated $500,000.
Yeah.
They make it into a motivator to get other people to give smaller amounts, in order to match the bigger amount.
500,000 turns into $1 million.
They're probably already going to give anyway. Let's be honest. Like, what if they only raise $40 in this entire campaign?
Well, they're already at 40,000.
I know. But the matching donor is just going to give that. I mean, they're already committed to the $500,000. This is a way to try to stretch it a little bit further. But if they get $1 million, they get over $1 million from that NIL tournament.
Yep.
You're starting to at least
be in the mix,
cover the salaries essentially of college basketball players nowadays.
If leaves in the offseason because of $500 or something, we know
whose fault it is.
We know who to blame.
Why don't you give?
If he leaves over 500, did we really want him here anyway?
Yes,
yeah,
we did.
We did. Have you seen him play?
We've seen him.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
By the way, he's probably still out this week, but optimistic that he could be back next week for the Mountain West tournament.
Good ears here by Zach says Paulie saved the put some money in the kitty drop from Ben. I agree.
Yeah.
It's like him at explicit.
Like the pot, the kitty.
I know what it is.
Like a card playing term.
Yeah. So are you going to give?
I will strongly consider it.
I forgot he has termites too.
You know what I'm going to give up for Lent?
Termites.
There you go. All right, we'll move on. NFL broadcasting news yesterday. Probably a long time coming for this one. Jimmy Johnson announced that he is retiring and stepping away from the Fox Sports NFL broadcast coverage that he has been a part of for 31 years.
Crazy, man. Time flies.
That's not how long he's been part of the NFL. That's just how long he's been part of Fox.
I know.
Yes. He's 81 years old. He was on with Colin Cowherd yesterday, made the announcement.
81?
Yeah,
81.
Where the hell did the time go?
How you doing?
When did his hair turn white?
When he was 14.
Yeah, I think it
white
happened
for a long time.
I think it happened second, third year in Dallas. Jerry Jones was.
I've got to say the white hair is kind of cool.
It looks good on some people. Looks good on him.
I like Jimmy Johnson fine. I just kind of noticed really this year in particular with Fox, because I was watching, they had the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I watched all their studio coverage. I'm like, yeah, with Jimmy Johnson, like Howie Long has been around for a long time as well. He doesn't quite look the age, but like Terry and Jimmy,
you look, man.
I think it was time to move on, maybe get some fresh blood in there.
Why do you think I want to retire at 54? So Woodsy left with his fastball. I want to keep my fastball. I don't want to be in here at 71 years old, pissing and moaning about prospects and stuff.
I will say that when guys like Jimmy Johnson and Bill Cowher went to the desk,
yeah,
I always assumed it was temporary.
Yeah.
And they would return. but they never did.
Never did.
Just decided,
Jimmy probably had a billion offers too.
Yeah.
Just was like, this is cush. He loves to fish. He's a big fisherman. He's got a boat, down there doing his thing.
Broadcasting's a pretty good gig, actually.
It is. It is.
He said the most fun I ever had in my career, that's counting Super Bowls and national championships, was at Fox Sports. Made the extremely difficult decision. I've been thinking about it for the last 4 or 5 years, and I've decided to retire from Fox. I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss all the guys. I'll see them occasionally. It's been a great run starting 31 years ago.
And you do also wonder, man, when somebody's that old, is it hey, bud, you don't really want to work here anymore, do you? One of those? Or is it like, hey, you can go out your way, or we're going to do this anyway? I always want the control in my hands. I never want somebody else to tell me it's time to go.
Hey, bud, this is happening.
This is happening, so we can do it one of two ways. At 81 years old, and like you said, man, a little bit's come off the fastball, which is fine, man. He had a great career. Nothing to be ashamed of. Super Bowl winner, 31-year broadcasting career. You've earned it.
I will say that crew, it's hard to tell sometimes when you're comparing everybody up there who's lost their fastball.
That's true.
More,
There's a lot of soft tossers in there right now. They could do with a rebrand. I'll give you that.
All right, and then let's see here. We will move on. Were you guys watching the Florida Man games this weekend?
I was not. I did not know they were on, but I would have had I known.
I don't even know if they were where they were on, but I know they were happening.
To imagine with the Florida Man game,
Pluto TV.
No, but
where they were on.
Like,
I don't know
what events.
Oh, I'll tell you all about it.
In the
So
Florida Man games,
the second year of the Florida Man games, they're a huge success.
Bath salt huffing.
Yeah, think crazy Florida Man puts on his own Olympics.
Gator, something with gators.
Driving naked in your car.
Yeah.
It's the second annual Florida Man games. Went down Saturday in St. Augustine, Florida. And the first one happened last year. I think we probably talked about it. It was February 24th of 2024. And so they brought back some events from last time, like the evading arrest obstacle course, where you escape from handcuffs, throw an alligator through a drive-through window, and steal a catalytic converter, all while being chased by real police officers.
I assume it's like a stuffed gator, or not a real gator, but
no, I think it's a real gator.
I don't know.
You throw a real gator through a drive-through window.
They had the weaponized pool noodle mud duel. Think Joust from American Gladiators in a little pool, and the pool noodles were wrapped with duct tape and just beat each other
up with it.
Florida.
It's a fun methy activity you can do.
Florida sumo cage match.
No, methy.
Dylan Methy. Florida sumo cage match and beer chug. You wear an inner tube, fight someone while holding a pitcher of beer and try not to spill it. New events included hurricane party prep, grocery aisle brawl.
All right.
So this is like medieval jousting, but you're in shopping carts.
Try to get the last can of chicken noodle soup
if nobody
before
falls,
the hurricane. Okay.
If nobody falls out of the cart, then you just fight each other for hurricane supplies.
It's interesting.
And then human beer pong.
It's interesting. I'd like to see that.
Other attractions this year included axe throwing, lawnmower races, a mechanical gator instead of a mechanical bull.
Oh, all right.
And a best mullet contest.
Speaking of Florida, I believe, wasn't she a Florida woman, Casey Anthony, at one point? Did you guys see? She's now on TikTok. So as I talk about a lot on this program, the staggering lack of self-awareness in this country is, staggering. She's on TikTok as a legal consultant, Casey Anthony. Anthony.
She did have some legal issues.
She did have some legal issues.
Experience in that
field. I feel like if it were me and I got away with that,
you would not be heard from again.
Nope.
Yeah.
It'd be unrecognizable.
Paulie, very good job.
Thank you.
Especially in your pronunciation of St. Augustine, Florida, which is correct, even though here we have St. Augustine High School, which is correct as well. People are very confused about it, but they're same spelling, different pronunciations entirely. Paulie got it right. Very good,
Thank
Paulie.
you.
That's it for us.
All right, that is all of our time for today. Barely hear the music today. It's weird. All right, there we go. Thank you.
Can you hear it now,
and Elston are coming up next. For Paul Rindle, our executive producer, and Stephen Woods. Woodsy, sorry for what you went through today.
Thank you, buddy.
Shout out to his family.
We'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. right here on 97.3 The Fan. Take care, everybody.